epicness, huh?
Yeah, so epic.
So this is Jason and Martin sound check. Let's get a sound check from you real quick, Shiva.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Epic. We're good.
Excellent. Yeah, it's coming off pretty good. Let's see what our viewing audience out in the studio has to say. Yeah. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, one of our moderators, ShivaShampoo, is a longtime friend. We've corresponded quite a bit. Let's see. I haven't seen anybody. Okay, audio's good. Thank you, George. All right, that's good. Yeah, we changed up our studio a little bit because we needed both of us to be included in the same frame. And I can't get rid of you. I don't know. He comes to America and he thinks he's got to stay here all the time. I don't know what's going on. But I'm going on. Yeah. So one short announcement. A couple of you, some of you have gotten confused. You're not YouTube veterans, and I understand the mistake. But the recent new policy I'm implementing with Archaix is that only subscribers get to comment in my live chats. It's gotten to the point where the material is so abundant and there is so much there, but a lot of the newer people come to the channel. They don't want to go do the homework. They don't want to see that this material has been shown from multiple different vantage points, many different times, and at different time periods. The same questions have been answered many, many times. And I can't waste time with people who are trying to move forward if I'm always looking backwards for new people. If you're new to my channel, I honestly don't want to make you angry. I don't want to disrespect you, but listen to me. It is the general consensus among my Archaix veterans, because we've talked about this before. If you haven't even been watching Archaix videos for at least 3 months, 90 days, you really shouldn't ask questions, because almost every question you would think to ask has been answered multiple times. There's over 540 presentations. Some of them go 2 to 3 hours. Everything's here, guys. As a reward for subscribing, it costs no money. It's absolutely free. This isn't memberships. This is subscriptions. If you want to support our Archaix, then you will subscribe to Archaix. And in reward for that, you can actively participate in our chats. It's as simple as that. So, all right. Having said all that, Shiva, this has been like 6 months in the making. We have not been able to get a schedule. We always got different things going on in our lives. Man, things get tumultuous. Man, I'm glad to finally get you on here. I had no idea when we discussed this that Martin would be joining us in this, but I've enjoyed your participation in the chat, and I want to personally thank you now that I have you on air in front of everybody, because I have noticed in the comment sections that you have actually taken time out of your life to answer people's questions in the comments, like I do. I go through the comments and I answer questions, and I see that some of my Archaix veterans do the same thing. They try to guide people to the right information, and I've caught you doing that a few times, man. I appreciate that.
You've muted him. I'm muted.
Oh, I thought you were unmuted.
You're there, Giza.
Why is it? He's got to sell it. There you go.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, but you're on a delay. I hear your sentence, and then about 2-3 seconds later, I hear it again. So it's...
Yeah. Okay.
Now I hear my words 5 seconds later. How do I solve this?
We'll see. He's getting feedback.
No, it's because he's so far away. He's in the middle of the mall. He's in the middle of the Indian Ocean, or he's on the moon. He could be on the moon. I don't know. Shiva, are you on the moon?
Wonder why.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing it twice. When you talk, Martin, I hear your sentence, and then 5 seconds later, I hear the whole sentence again.
Wow, I wonder why that is. It's not
with my voice too. Oh my!
You got it twice, bro.
Okay.
Is headphones better?
Where's this?
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yes, you're free to it.
This is crazy.
Hold on. Okay. How's this? Do you hear it now?
That's it. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. Gosh, you bitch.
Still, it's like a 5 second delay.
That's weird as well.
With my voice too. Sorry, guys in the chat. Put up with this for a little while.
Yeah.
Have you
Wow.
watched Enoch?
What are you talking about?
You know, YouTube's not on, is it?
Should I leave the studio and come back?
No, hold on. We're gonna correct this. No, there's nothing on my end. Oh, do you have? What about him? Yeah, he's in the. Do you have YouTube on at the same time that you responded to this link?
You got
Wow.
your watch page.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Now I can't hear him at all. Hold on.
Oh, Shiva.
You can unmute your guest.
People are saying it's no echo. It's only for Shiva. Nobody's hearing
How come
the
I can't
echo.
unmute this guy?
Only Shiva's hearing the echo. No one else.
Why can't I unmute this guy? What's going on here, man? Their mic isn't connected. Hey, your
It's
mic's
fine.
not
Yeah,
connected.
just-
There you go. Now we got it.
Sweet, isn't that? There is no echo in chat. It's
Excellent.
just Shiva. It's just Shiva.
Excellent.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Okay, Shiva.
Okay.
Things are a little bit different out there in the Maldives.
Back out.
Oh my. Okay, everything is fine now. So everyone can see the informal nature and jovial nature of this interaction. We're obviously not well-funded Freemasonic Hollywood people. I mean, or we are, and we're just really doing a good job.
Yeah,
Pretending
man.
to be.
Yeah.
Don't throw up no hand signals. I got enough trolls talking about all that
No,
bullcrap.
don't worry. No, I'll chop my hands off. Then no one can say anything. Oh, that's probably a hand signal as well.
Yeah, man. That's good.
Okay. All right.
That's pretty fast. We already got over 1,000 people in the chat. That's pretty fast.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, Mandela's a juicy topic, for various reasons. I mean, some people are just into the, wow, this is really wild. And why not? Because it is really wild that your reality changes. I mean, that's an amazing thing, right? And some people, as soon as they see Mandela, they're like, I want to go there and crap on everybody. It's just one of those things, right? One of those topics. Sometimes you don't get much opposition on some things that you talk about, but when it comes to Mandela, people go, they go nuts. And I get it because you're dealing with the physical reality, right? And even people who have been smart enough to say, hey, I'm being lied to. What's going on here? So they investigate various, psyops and fake events and stuff. And the realm, and they're like, oh, wow, this has been kept from me. But they're still using their intellect, their left brain, right? To say, wow, I'm using logic. I can see too far. Therefore, it can't be a globular 40K thing. What? And so you go on like this. But then with the Mandela effect, you're like, there is no logical explanation. That thing changed, and millions of Bibles just changed, like physical Bibles at home.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that disturbs people. For me, it's the opposite. I'm like, yeah, that's great. I always suspected this reality was changeable, interactive, and wasn't the solid thing. But then you're told, no, sorry, buddy.
Right.
This is all there is. You're trapped. There's nothing. And so
listen, I'm on board with it, dude. You have educated more. You have educated me more than anybody I know in all our interactions about the Mandela effect. Because I had no idea, dude. I was really in the dark, and the deal
there's
we
a
did
ton
with
more.
Hey,
There's so many more. I mean, once you realize one or two of them, right? Like there are literally thousands of them, and then there's probably millions or billions of personal ones. But just the ones that we can all share and say, hey, yeah, I know. You can share with millions of people. Said, I know Ed McMahon delivered those checks, right?
Yeah.
Those things, even one or two of them, you can prove some of them wrong because some of them are just bullshit. Some people literally are putting out fake ones just to muddy the waters. It's always happening. Right?
Of course.
And then
But
someone
some
says,
someone
I proved that one wrong. Therefore, the other thousands are what? They're just, how about the other? There's nothing you can say about some of them. They're just so solid. So once you have a couple of those anchor memories, you and your sister sitting around the house saying, hey, what's that little thing on the Fruit of the Loom underwear? Oh, and then, hey, mom and dad, what's that thing? And they go to the encyclopedia. It's a cornucopia, son. And oh, wow. And you have this little learning moment, and you remember that forever. You and your sister, your parents, cornucopia, Encyclopedia Britannica. So it's not just that you saw the underwear thousands of times every day when you went to the toilet. It's also that, you had this, and then they're telling you, no, you don't remember that. And you're like, yes, I do. Right. And then you're given an option, right? They're always given an option. Like, do you want to go with this thing of like, hey, reality is changeable? no, that's too frightening. What's the option? And then they'll give you an option. There's always like well, the labels change, and then at a certain point. But if you really go and check the labels, I've checked the history of Fruit of the Loom labels it was never a cornucopia, but I know it was there. So anyway, once you have a couple of these, that should be enough, right? You should know that reality's not solid.
Yeah.
Man, it's there's no doubt. I mean, this is a construct, and I like to use the word simulation. But truth be told, I've also admitted multiple times in the past that that's merely a frame of reference. This is some type of spiritual technology, and it's being
I agree. Yeah.
It's being changed and modified as we live it. But I don't think these are accidental. You and I went deep on Discord one time about these theories about Mandela effect. So far, we really can't find any that are detrimental. They're just all curio. They're all designed to get our attention. They seem to be from a benefactor. And the only message I can absolutely think of, we're going to go deep in all these Mandela effects, but I would like the new listeners to hear that so far we're at the point here in Archaix. Now they may have a different opinion, but I believe that there's a benefactor, and this is a type of messaging. Hey, wake up. Your reality is modified, and that means you can modify it. It's not as dark as you think. That's the only message I can think of if Mandela effect is truly real. And I can't even embrace, like, well, who's that? Manuel Velikovsky said that too many coincidences exhibits no coincidence at all. So I'm on board with that. I mean, it doesn't matter if you can discount 100 examples of Mandela effect, you have a problem. And that problem is there's thousands of other ones that are still
yeah. You're going to get one eventually. But it is quite remarkable when you meet people who they seem to have taken a download on these things, and they go with the new memory, and you're like, wow, that's really bizarre. But there are some that are pretty well 100%, except for the young people, because the very young people, they grow up with the new one. They didn't know it the old way. So something like mirror, 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 mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all, right? That's in Snow White. Now, that's so obvious, right? But that's now magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest? One of all. So it changed of to one. And so you ask people, it's going to be close to 100%. People are going to say mirror, mirror. I've asked people here in the Maldives, like random 20-year-olds that saw, they were like, yeah, mirror, mirror. Like everybody knows, universal. You could probably go to the Amazon jungle and ooga booga, and they'd be like, oh, mirror, mirror. Everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it. Yeah.
And
everywhere in the world.
And so even the people who are like, oh, this is totally nonsense and blah, blah, blah. And they pull out all these University of Chicago studies and the lamest stuff you've ever seen. I don't even want to give it, but it's really funny. I read through these things. I'm like, this is a serious academic university study. I'll just go through it really quickly. Okay. This is what it said. One of the things was they showed a car accident video, right? To 100 people or something. I don't know how many people. And then after, that was like a few minutes long. Then they asked them, was there broken glass? Blah, 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 blah. They asked them some questions. 30-something% of the people said, yeah, there was broken glass. But guess what? There was no broken glass in the accident. They assumed it was broken glass. So then they said, well, you see, memory is notoriously unreliable. And you're like, just go screw yourself. Yeah, okay. Watching a video and not really paying attention is not the same thing as hearing It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood 500 times or looking at your Fruit of the Loom a couple of thousand times every day. I mean, dude, that's not the same thing. Me seeing something 500 times, I'm going to trust my memory. I hope so, or I'm really retarded. So this is just,
Go ahead.
I don't understand how people can deny it. But just for the deniers and for the people who are into it, I can list a whole bunch of them if you want.
Yeah, man.
Okay, well, hold on. Before you do, there's no one in the world that can provide me a thesis trying to explain to me how the Berenstain Bears weren't Jewish back when I was a kid. You know what I mean? There's no way. There's no way. So
No, I mean the children would go around and, you know, Berenstein, you're really clean. You stain. If it was stain, it would have been stain in the brain, insane. Like, you know, you stained your pants. I mean, you would remember stain. But the very fact that people have an anchor memory of talking with their sons, there were kids that were like pretending to be Jewish bears going, what do you mean? And it's really funny. They have this memory. Now, why would they have that memory if Stain was the last name? Have you ever met anyone named Berenstain? That's not really a name, is it? Just like Charles M. Schultz, you know, who wrote Peanuts, right? Snoopy, Linus, but Charles M. Schultz has a T in it. Of course, that is a common name, but now it's Charles M. Schulz. The T is gone. Where did it go? I mean, what? I mean, that is a big one. You know this one? Charles M. Schulz?
I've heard this one, yeah.
Yeah, also FAO Schwartz. You know, FAO Schwartz is the name of a big toy store in, I think it's in New York. And Tom Hanks played the piano in that movie called Big. And Schwartz has also lost a T. So there's a lot of losing T's going on.
I also remember my Schwartz is bigger than your Schwartz. You remember that one?
Exactly. I mean, you know, it's the one that you mentioned before about Chick-fil-A. You see, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, an anchor memory. You're like, that French chicken, you know, now why would you joke? Remember, you were in a video, you mentioned Chick-fil-A, and you said, I know it was CHIC. Now it's CHICK, and it's actually changed a couple of times. But the thing is, why would you joke that it was the French chicken if it wasn't chic? You know, this is very très chic. That's a French word. If it was CHICK, you never would have made that joke.
Somebody just made a comment that they're sure that it's the Fortune 500 companies are just gaslighting people. To make a comment like that is here it is right here. Who is it? Coco Mojo. I'm sure it's companies. There it is right there. I'm sure it's companies gaslighting people. CIA developed these techniques to mess with people. It's a fight for your mind. Okay, Coco, we have a problem with that assessment. And that problem is people have dug out magazines from their attics and found the originals where the stuff out there in the general public is the new version. Yeah, this is how Mandela effect is proven over and over. We're going to show you some right here. Shiva has provided me images and video clips showing, because when the phenomenon of Mandela effect is very interesting, because there's also the evidence of the change in the construct. The clues are out there. You can still find old versions, and it's very, very compelling. So this theory you have here about companies gaslighting, it would never cover all those that have been.
No, Dolly did not have braces. I don't think that's it.
No way.
Okay, just saying.
Whatever organization you work for, Dolly didn't have braces in no universe. I mean, it's ridiculous. Well, okay, the thing is, I totally get it. You know, when people are looking for physical reasons for things, right? They're imagining the CIA or these nefarious agencies have like millions of agents that just, okay, let me just say this. If it's just online, people say, oh, it's just internet stuff. So you got a big, huge supercomputer that's smart enough to trawl the entire internet and go in and make these little changes. That is possible. You could actually go in the back door. I mean, you know, it's all back doors in the internet. There's no privacy. You could go in and alter things and screw with people's minds. And that's being done actually. But how do you go into people's houses all over the world where you got like 50 million CIA agents who sneak into your basement, take your VHS copy of Snow White and bring it back to Langley and alter it so that it says magic mirror, we're going to fuck his mind. Like what? Sorry about the language. But and then you go back and put it back in the basement while the guy's sleeping. Okay, how did you change millions of Bibles around the world from the lion shall lay with the lamb until the wolf? How does that happen? I mean, that's a real change, and everybody knows it's changed all the way back to the original language, the original sources as well, right? Back to
absolutely.
Or is this the same?
That theory doesn't hold. Yeah, the companies aren't changing this shit. You're right. Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, for sure. I mean, so you could account for internet stuff with some organization with a strong computer, but physical objects like the Volkswagen logo, dude. You know, I know guys that the Volkswagen was the first car they bought. You know, they bought a Bug, they bought a van, whatever, the little camper. You saw all the hippies with their VWs, but they're too stoned. It was like, maybe I remember it wrong. The thing is, the VW was a V and a double V, basically a W. Now it has a space. Okay, big deal. But the thing is, this isn't an online change. You've got a guy that has a physical object in his garage for 50 years, an old Ford, and he knows what the Ford logo looks like. He knows what the VW looks like. Let's say he's got one of each. He goes out there now, and the thing has changed. A physical change. That's not a CIA operation. That is like the physical reality changing. So I get it. If people think online, if it was only online, then you could say, okay, this is some kind of, trickery, right?
Okay, but look at this, Shiva.
Agreed.
If there is some type of agency that's going into all these places, old storages, old attics, basements, going in people's personal libraries, going under their mattress and finding a 15-year-old porn stash that shows the original names of some of the playgirls. Listen, whatever.
You're busy,
whatever the scenario is, then we have a situation. We have a situation of like a mixture of Dark City and the Adjustment Bureau. And if that's true, then it only solidifies our argument that we're living in a construct.
Yeah.
That is that.
It's Dark City, Adjustment Bureau, Castaneda, Matrix, and beyond. I mean, the same. Well, you're talking about the simulation, right? A lot of people, they have a problem with simulation because as soon as they think it, they think technological. Elon Musk metaverse, like they're going off into the basest kind of blackwashing that's been, we've been presented. Simulation has been around for a very long time, not just Uspensky but the Vedas themselves, which are incredibly old. I can tell you the concept of Maya. People go, oh, Maya isn't really illusion. Yeah, I know, but simulation isn't really simulation. You see, people understand that. I totally agree with you that it's some kind of mixture of spirit and dream and tech but it's something that we don't have words for. Like it is actually something that's beyond our understanding in a way. That's why. Yeah.
When did it first show up?
Oh, good question. Okay. Hey, what's the matter, guy? Okay, so there's a cat doing some funny stuff. Many people say, oh, it started in, they choose a date, 2015, 2014, 2011, et cetera, right?
Like flat Earth.
From the Google search results, there is a tremendous peak in interest. Tremendous, like real in about 2015, and it went on 2015, 16, 17. It got really high. It started to go down a little bit. 2018, it's actually picked up again, and there are more changes, and there keep on being more. So something is happening now. But I know people, and I myself have experienced Mandela effects way before that. I mean, here's one. Play it again, Sam. Casablanca.
Yeah.
You know that. Okay. Now, I always thought. Now, I'm not even going to say. For me, I'm going to list about 70 Mandela effects, but this one, I'm not going to say 100% sure. I always thought it was Play It Again, Sam, since I'm a child. I wish my dad was alive.
No, my mother played that record to death. Yeah, I know it.
Okay, so Casablanca, what is it? 1941. It's an old film. So, now she's never said "Play It Again, Sam," and I thought,
play it, Sam. Play as time goes by.
You played it for me, yeah, exactly right. And you're sitting there going, and so when someone told me that, I was like, okay, I guess I just remembered it wrong. Interesting. No, this is way before. This is in the 90s or something. So I don't know what's going on. And Smokey the Bear, right? Some people say now he's called Smokey Bear, which is just awkward. But I've heard people say that they saw this change in the 80s. Me, I only know it a few years ago. So the thing is, some Mandela effects may be new for you, but they may be quite old for some people. Some Mandela effects have a definite start. You can look at the patents for Procter and Gamble, right? And you can Procter and Gamble, Procter like doctor, Proctor, right? Is now Procter with ER, and that's just impossible, right? But the whole history of Procter and Gamble, it's never been OR. But if you forget Procter & Gamble and go to the patent office and check all these patents, anything before 2015 and before is Proctor with OR. But if you go in the history of the company and whatever, they said they have never been called that. It's just, you're delusional. And then, but why would the patent office, patents are very specific. You have to have the right spelling. You've got legal teams.
Wow.
So, this is called residue. What you said, evidence. This is called residue. This is the name we give for it. Yeah. People who are into Mandela stuff. It's the stuff that, because you can't really, if it's just a memory, you can trust your memory, but, it's better to have something like some of the photos that I showed you, like the thinker statue, the thinker statue.
Yeah, okay. I seen a residue the other day, literally a virtual version of Rodin's thinker the other way, like that.
Yeah, bro.
On the TV screen. I was like,
okay. Now, so basically the thinker used to be like this, right? And it was the right elbow on the right knee. Then it changed to down here. It changed about 3 or 4 times, I think. And yet people are going, oh, no, it's always been that way. And it's always been that way each time. So, hey, guys, get it together, right? Aren't you noticing? But anyway, so now it's gone so weird. Now it's the elbow on the left knee. And instead of this, the hand is kind of sort of open and it's on the chin, kind of splayed. It's weird. Now, Martin, can you show those thinker things now that we're on the thinker? I've got some photos there.
I got it right here. I got it. We're on my laptop, so I'm going to.
Great. It says the thinker.
Yeah, I see. Oh, I see. I'm looking at it. The problem is getting it in this app, so I just need to drag and drop this.
Okay.
Right here.
So show them. There's the ones that say front are really funny. Because it's people taking a photo of themselves in front of the thinker.
Hold on.
And they're imitating the thinker. Now,
I seen it. Why would they do that?
When they took the photo, it's an old photo. The thinker was like this. That's how we remember it. People have done sketches of it, right? But in the photo, the thinker has changed, but the people in the front are the same because they're human beings doing a human thing. Okay, this is great. So it says the thinker, right? The thinker. There we go.
This right here?
Yeah, on the bottom there. All those. Yeah.
It's not showing the individual file.
What?
It's not showing the individual file.
Man, I hate StreamYard sucks, man.
That's why I put everything in Google Images before I start.
It's good we have Martin there. Oh yeah, I could have just shown you that.
Can you see that?
No.
So it's not showing you guys nothing, is it?
You just have to click it, no?
No, it's not.
Go back to share screen. Click it off. Stop. Stop there. Stop screen.
All right, we're gonna try something else here.
Go back onto there again. Actually, there's other options there.
Some are JPEG, some are PNG.
All right. Slides. Hold on, we're gonna go in here.
Yeah.
You have no slides. Wait a minute. Let me try.
No, do that.
I'm on a Mac, so the screenshot is PNG. Maybe the PNG is not possible to be shown on your.
Just upload that. That's it.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but I've already tried that. Look, see, if I upload the whole file, I'm gonna have to actually upload each individual one.
Yeah,
that's what it does. Can you see? We're trying to see if this picture shows up.
Go share screen now.
Okay.
Don't share screen. Stop sharing screen. Back to stream that.
This sucks. Yeah, this.
Oh, back to stream that.
Yeah. We're gonna lose people's interest, man, trying to fight with these pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I did was
I have no idea how to do that. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
How complicated it is.
I have maybe it's because it's PNG, right? I have Mac.
It has nothing to do with the image file. It has nothing to do with the type of image file. It's the inside of StreamYard. StreamYard has a present button, and I'm sitting here clicking on it right now. Here, watch. Here's the whole thing. There's nothing in there when you click on the actual file. There's nothing in there. But they are in the file. They're on the file on desktop.
Yeah, I can see that.
On the desktop. Yeah, StreamYard's got problems, man, when it comes to sharing stuff. This isn't my first time having problems with StreamYard.
Oh, yeah.
What I was doing, open Google and I would bring up popular Mandela effects.
He had some really good examples, man.
Yeah, those were good. Yeah.
Well, that one with the people like that, it's just crazy.
Well, I can remind you what they are. See, I will put this video in here real quick. Watch this.
Okay.
It's this is the what is that? Hello, Clarice.
This is a killer one.
That's
Okay, this
Mandela. It's a Mandela, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. So basically, in Silence of the Lambs, Anthony Hopkins no longer says, "Hello, Clarice." He doesn't say it anymore. The most iconic line in the film.
Yes. What was it like to work with Anthony Hopkins?
Privilege and breathtaking. I mean, seeing him up close, he's one of the greatest actors of our time, but really seeing it and all the little subtleties he does just blew my mind. But the first scene I ever had with him, I was completely naked, and he was about 5 inches away from my face. And the first line he says to me is, "Hello, Dolores." And all I could hear was, "Hello, Clarice."
Right, yeah.
And I freaked out. And I thought, man, I had the craziest dream last night. I was doing this scene with Anthony Hopkins, but I was totally naked. And I think I was a robot. And it was in the future.
Hello, Clarice and movie trivia fans. I'm Kate Costello, and today's movie trivia is all about creepy, creepy, creepy Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. Hello, Clarice. It's good to see you again.
Never gonna heal. I'm a monster.
You are not a monster.
Hello, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice.
You killed your sister, Joe.
Ta-ta-ta. It's Brian.
Yes. Hello, Clarice.
I have to say, shepherd's pie is one of my favorite dishes of all time. I love it. So who'd be your worst
Fox because you make your brushes too juicy.
Hello, Clarice.
Ah! Oh, gross. Stop.
It's crazy how much Kyle stuff we have to throw away. Corporate really put their money.
Hello, Clarice.
Who's Clarice?
She is. Hi, Clarice.
Because I guess to play a man like that, to play him very sane, to play him really normal, and then let the audience do the work. So, hello, Clarice. It's not real FBI, is it? And let the audience do all the work for you. You don't have to play crazy.
Have you ever used that voice on the phone to get...
So, this is, you guys were talking in the Paranormies about this, and they were, because Alt Skull, he's really into his Mandelas, right? He's really well versed on it, and he was really happy that Johnny actually agreed with 2 Mandela effects in one show. That for him is like
wow. Johnny Monoxide, man, he is kind of a critic. You're right, and Alt Skull's coming on Archaix. I'm bringing him on to Archaix. He's excited about it. I'm excited about it. We're going to haunt people because the video we're going to show, it's going to be haunting. It's a
freaky one, yeah. The one about the guys that are inside the simulation and they're talking to these. I'm going to do a viewer discretion notice before that video because I'm not going to be responsible for people. It's haunting, but we'll leave that one alone. But to break it up though, Shiva, even though that was going to be haunting, before that, this is going to be this weekend. But before that, I heard a rumor that the Illuminati are going to strike back, and it's going to be nothing but a 2-hour straight comedy routine on Archaix, basically putting back the whole history of the world back into proper perspective.
As it really was, yeah. The real story.
Yep.
Yeah, like Nero with his Fender Stratocaster. The real stuff.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun. Okay, so here that we're on the Hello Clarice vibe, right? Let me just list a bunch of movies and television ones, because these are quite familiar with people. Okay. Now, for people who say, just to preface this, some people say, oh, Mandela effects are so retarded. They're like, oh, they're just stupid product labels and movies and like the basest thing of our culture. I'm saying, well, look, a 13th century esoteric tome could change a few letters, but who the hell would know about it? No one would know it. Basically, we are being communicated. Things are being communicated to us, and they have to communicate it to the largest number of people. And the way to get to the largest number of people is what people are doing. They're looking at products. They're watching movies. This is what people are doing nowadays. So it's the fact that society is like this. So how am I going to reach the maximum number of people, to give the maximum number of people a chance to see what's going on? And then it's up to you to accept that, okay, reality is fluid. Now what? It doesn't just end there, right? Mandela effect's just a way to show you that it's fluid. But is that all it's doing? I actually believe, I do believe, after looking at so many of them, that there are messages in every single one. Now, it can get to be a real trip because you get into it. The decoding of this is complicated, and there's some decoding that I can do on this, but I would not be able to do it on YouTube. It had to be on Archaix TV or something, because there's some deep stuff that you can go into this stuff that is which most people aren't getting into, because they're looking at the effect itself and like, wow, that song changed. Oh no, I love that song. Don't screw with my song. And this kind of stuff. That's not important. The thing is, like, it changed from something to something else. Why did it change from this to that? Is it just meaningless? Is it just a change? Or is there a message there? Well, some things like, the Mamas and the Papas song, California Dreamin'.
Yeah,
right?
that one.
Like, walked into a church, just along the way, got down on my knees, and I began to pray, right? I began to pray. Now it's, I pretend to pray.
Yeah, no.
No, really?
Now that's a different meaning, right? Definitely different meaning. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so movies and TV. All right.
Okay,
So,
hang on. Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon.
Dude, if you want to talk about music, dude, I'll tell you one thing about Dark Side of the Moon. Okay, I've got it written down here. I actually did a little research on that. Dark Side of the Moon is now the Dark Side of the Moon, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Allegedly.
But the Dark Side of the Moon on. No.
Yeah.
10 things that were never said.
Yeah. And now, so now it's the Dark Side of the Moon all over the world. But you can find the Dark Side of the Moon in some places in Europe. But every copy in North America, it's all changed to the Dark Side of the Moon. So it's possible to find some residue on that. But, how many times have you listened to that album? I mean, I think I know the name of the album, Yeah. It's amazing. Some of these things are amazing. Well, I think they're all amazing. Anyway, the Bible one's going to blow your mind. That's a little bit more serious. We'll get to the Bible ones later, because if you know your Bible, and I know you know your Bible, Jason, you'll be like, no way it said that.
Shiva, look at the screen. I figured it out. Shiva, look at the screen.
All right. Smokey the Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's Smokey the Bear, which is the longest running public service announcement in America, right? Only you can prevent forest fires. Smokey the Bear is now Smokey Bear. The just isn't there. I mean, what? That one is impossible. I know Smokey the Bear since I'm a kid, and you can't tell me it's Smokey Bear. Now, I've heard justifications for that. People will put there's this one thing in 1956 for a short time. It was actually called but then they changed it back. And you're like, dude, no, that's 1956. I know Smokey the Bear from incessant commercials. Get out of town. Anyway, it's ridiculous. So, okay, so let's get into the movie things. Can I list a few?
Here you go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Above Steve Seagal. Okay. That's the way his name is spelled, right? Look, you don't have to like the guy. Most of these movies and things, I don't like this stuff. I don't own a TV. Like, screw this stuff. But it is interesting, the change, right? Because this is what Steve Seagal is now Seagal, almost like a seagull.
Oh, so this is an older version of the original Steven Seagal.
This is residue. If you look online, he was never Steven Seagal. And the funny thing is, Steven Seagal was married to Adrienne LaRussa, which is now La Russa. And Tony La Russa, the manager of the Dodgers, was Tony La Russa. Now it's La Russa. Yeah. There's a bunch of these names like LaToya Jackson. There's a bunch of things that were Robert De Niro that were together, and now they're apart. It's very odd.
Wow, Shiva, you're talking about you call it residue. So
yeah, residue.
The only difference here is really just in description. 2 years ago, I was releasing videos showing my own community that we have programming fossils from prior civilizations. We have parts, artifacts, out of place calendars and timelines, events that were still unfolding on calendars that were no longer operative. But the civilizations had been erased that employed those timekeeping systems, and yet on those older patterns, events were still happening until they ultimately faded all the way out. This is really interesting that you would call this residue. It's basically what I was describing, and I just basically called it programming fossils. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, meatloaf is now meatloaf. Two separate words.
Yes. It's now it's insane. That one's crazy, right? That's crazy. There's various kinds of Mandela effects too, right? There's like spelling changes. There's the thinker. Okay, now that we're on the thinker, because let's finish up the thinker. Now that you got the photos.
You're breaking up pretty bad. You're breaking up pretty bad, man.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a card decal of the thinker, the way it used to be, the fist on the forehead on the right knee, not on the left knee. So that's someone who remembers it the way it was. Go to the next thinker. Let's do all the thinkers now that we're here, because they're good things. I mean, a picture says 1,000 words, and some of those photos where people are, see, that's
he's not breaking up for the audience.
Okay.
Now this is the way it is now. Look in the background. That's the thinker the way it is now. His hand is not on the forehead, it's on his chin. It's kind of like gay, and then he has it on the left knee. Look at the person down. Now the person is using their left hand. They could have used their right hand, but it's probably because of the angle. But they have on the forehead and they have it on the knee that is their arm. So go to the next one. You'll see they're all like this. There she is. Now she's put it on her left knee, but she has it on her forehead. So she's doing a little bit of a hybrid there. But at least she has it on the forehead. Fist on the forehead. This one has it on the chin. Come on, guy. Get with the program. That guy's an NPC, little child. Sorry, guy. Just joking. They're cute. All right, there's another one. I think the next one is a freaky one. No, it's like the whole classroom is there. It's just like, look at these losers. Hey guys, don't you think one of them is wrong? No, they're all equally retarded. They're all just don't know how to imitate the big statue behind them. Really? No, come on.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Fist on the forehead. It's just such an iconic pose. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger has a weightlifting move called the Thinker, and it's like this. That is George Bernard Shaw. Okay, now he's using the left hand instead of the right hand, but he's got on the forehead and he has it on the knee, the same side as the arm, the way it used to be, right? This is George Bernard Shaw doing a naked photo for some weird reason, and
it is weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And he wrote this thing describing that he was imitating the sculpture by Auguste Rodin and described the pose, fist to the forehead, etc., etc. So this is called residue. So the actual physical statue changed because CIA agents came and just did some magic wonder, directed energy to it or something, I guess.
Yeah, it was a special branch of your adjustment bureau, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. The men in black, or maybe purple.
Man.
But so there's another one. Will Ferrell putting the fist to the forehead. So you'll see this a lot in the actual thing changes, and all record of it changes throughout history. But there will be people imitating it, and it's still the same. What's that?
No,
that's a Mandela effect.
I'm going the wrong way. I'm trying to figure out how many images you got.
Okay. Smoking
there we go.
Oh, Smithsonian Institute.
Yeah, right.
Now, Jason, I've been, you know me, right? I listen to what you say. I've been watching all your videos, and I've been tracking. I haven't written them down. How many times you say Smithsonian Institute, and how many times you say Smithsonian Institution? All of your old videos, every last one without exception, unless they've been changed. No, they all say Smithsonian Institute. And you overwhelmingly say Smithsonian Institute. But then I can tell that you've been reading things more recently, because all the reading things now say Smithsonian Institution. And the freaky thing
that's
is
that's a good observation, because my education was in prison and I was reading all these old original they're in the library, old original hardback editions of all the Smithsonian Institute's magazines, because after 4 or 5 years, they get enough periodicals together and they publish them in hardback anthologies. And I was reading these, and you're right, it was always Smithsonian Institute. Only recently, as I was going back into the files, looking at different stuff, it is Smithsonian Institution. You're right.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. And the thing is, it's Smithsonian Institution, not just online. Like, take a book of yours, take an old book that you know was Smithsonian Institute, and see what it says now. Like the Bible. The Bible has changed. Now, not just a few changes. There are hundreds of changes in the Bible. And some people say that there's about 2,000, and there's more all the time. And some of them are very subtle. Some of them are really glaring and very obvious.
I have a book from the 1890s in my library. Smithsonian Institution is on the spine. So you're right, the change does go back. But I also have something else. Let me go look at it.
Man.
I'm gonna go look
this
at it.
This is great. Yeah, exactly, man. You see, this is the freaky thing. So, Martin, you know how there's a lot of people in our community. I don't, what a weird word, but the thing is, we're all in the human community, right? Yeah, 6 people or 4 in the JFK limo. 4 people, obviously, bro. People have been studying that for decades. It's like 4 people, and we just never noticed there were 6. Oh, well, my bad. I just been studying that conspiracy for 60 years. The bullet trajectories and every fucking this detail of this guy and the mob but I just didn't notice there were 6 people. Oh, well, I guess it's crazy. The JFK one is crazy, and I've heard people try to defend it, and I find it hilarious.
Oh, I went to Dealey Plaza recently, and the whole place just looks like a movie studio. And it occurred to me that the whole thing could have just been set up.
Martin, I think you and I and the paranormies, we all feel exactly the same about JFK. Like, nobody died there, dude. Come on. Don't be silly. That is so ridiculous. I'm sorry. I believed it too, and there's all these conspiracies surrounding it. And then you just get to it and it's impossible. You look at the photos and now it's 4 instead of 6. How about 9/11? Pentagon, there's 125 people died, but there was 0 people died there. Like, I studied that from 2001 onwards, and everybody, mainstream alternative, everybody said 0 people died at the Pentagon. That was the story for years. Now look online. There's always been 125 deaths at the Pentagon. Okay. So already the event is fake. Now it's even more fake. So heirs to Procter & Gamble clashing. That's Procter, the way we remember it, just like Dr. Procter. I mean, Procter
I
&
reckon
Gamble.
you should go out and come back in again, and you'll come through clear then.
Come again?
I reckon you should go out, come back in again.
Who?
Shiva, and it'll clear his thing.
Go. What are you talking about?
Yeah, because it's lag. It'll clear the lag.
So, you want to go out and come back in?
Yeah. That'll clear the lag. Try it.
No problem. Should I leave studio?
Yeah, and come back in straight away. It should clear the lag then.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So you use the same link or send him another one?
No, you'll click it back now. You'll be back now. It seems to be a quick fix for the old laggage.
Yeah, sometimes it's just back. He's so far out there in the islands.
Yeah, man.
I mean, shoot, I don't even know how they get Wi-Fi out there. He's already back.
Undersea cables. Satellites. That's a joke.
Let's see. All right, bud, you're back.
Can you hear me?
Man, crystal clear.
Okay. Somebody in the chat. Oh, I think it's gone. I haven't been looking at the chat, guys. Just I'm not ignoring you. Just like, it's just to keep my. Now I got a cat making some noise. Somebody said that there's a photo. There's residue of the Kennedy car in an article, and I've seen some stuff now. That's been explained away by. There was a car. Nowadays they say there's 6 people in the car, right? And in the car. There's a whole backstory around it that never existed. They got this Ford or whatever car it was. They cut it in half. I think it was a Ford. They cut it in half and extended it and made all these things so that there could be 6 seats. Well,
that's crazy.
I mean, it's a
complete no running boards. No running boards.
I've seen the old black and white footage of the shots. And there never was 6 people in that damn car.
We're wrong, though. We're the deluded ones in this reality, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'm used to it. But so, oh yeah, and look at the video now too. Look at that Zapruder film. I mean, what the hey?
Yeah, now, it took a while for it to be like spliced together and actually come out to the public, didn't it? To say
it was released years later, and the other thing is
later, like a decade later.
Yeah. And now there's sound, and now there's like 7, 8 other videos taken from other angles. Like, really? And now the car is being, the Secret Service were further back. Now they're closer. Yeah. Everything is just getting wacky. It's like some things like the Wizard of Oz, right? They have like 10 Mandela effects or something connected with it. Some of the
Shiva, it's called AIX. Let me introduce you to Artificial Intelligence X, because AIX is the one manipulating this whole reality. It's not the man, and it's not CIA.
Exactly. I think, I definitely think these are, it's a good thing. I really do think. Here's something that we talked about, I think, in the first Discord. Okay, now that we're on the movies and TV things, right? Remember, Houston, we have a problem. Okay, now Houston, we have a problem. Is Apollo 13, Now, that was Tom Hanks, who is involved in many Mandela effects, like Life is Like a Box of Chocolates and FAO Schwartz, and several of them. Tom Hanks has got a constellation of Mandela effects floating around him. But Houston, we have a problem, is the way it used to be. Then there was a BuzzFeed article in 2013. Okay, so you're asking, when did the Mandela effect start? Some people say 2015, 16. Well, in 2013, there was an article on BuzzFeed, May the 1st, 2013. And it says, the article was about 20 famous movie lines that we often misquote. Right? And one of them was, Houston, we have a problem. And they said, now it's Houston, we've had a problem. It was never Houston.
Way.
Right. So the thing is, though, but this is the freakiest thing. We call this in the business, we call it flip-flops. Okay. Because it was Houston, we have a problem. It changed to Houston, we've had a problem. There was an article about it. Then I think 9 months later or something, it changed back to Houston, we have a problem.
Right.
And that, it kind of reminds me of the Bible one in the KJV, right? You'll have a change in the KJV, the King James Version, for those who don't know. And the change will be, what was the original? I'll try to get the original as close as I can. Isaiah 11:6 was the lion shall lay with the lamb, right? And now, go to the KJV, it says the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb. Not lie, not lay, shall dwell. So it's wolf and dwell. And for some reason, people don't notice that. I mean, you have to notice that. Everybody notices that. Every pastor, every preacher, you get them. Nobody will say wolf. Then they look in their Bible and they have a little bit of a strange moment, right? And they start to spin the wheels and justify it. But first it was the KJV, but all the other 30 translations or whatever, they still said lion. So they're like, oh, this is just the KJV. After some time, all of them changed. not just online, but your Bible in your house. My mom's Bible from 1963. A friend of mine has a Bible that's 100 years old. It changed. A friend of mine memorized the Bible. His parents forced him to memorize the Bible. He knows 100%. And I told him, lions changed to wolf. And he was like, no, come on. He got his Bible from his mother who died. He had to memorize that thing. He took it and it blew his mind. And he didn't sleep that night. He was like, what? Then he was a little disturbed, right? Because he thought, how about all the stuff that I've written? How about all my books? They can just change, right? And some people have mentioned that to you also, Jason. They're saying, hey, can't old books just change? And nothing's reliable. It's all nonsense. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I get it.
People are too lazy to study the chronology and the incredible interrelations of things themselves. So it's easier just to say, oh, it's all fake, right? There is a lot of fake stuff, but it doesn't mean you just lazy say default fake. There's fakey within the fake. And then there's some pretty real stuff within the fake. You know, that's kind of a joking way to say it, but you know what I mean? Like,
well, every construct requires a substrate of mathematics. There's going to have to be, or it wouldn't be a construct. It would be true chaos, and in true chaos, even arithmetic wouldn't be viable. So, yeah, 100%. It's 100%. When you have to scour thousands of texts just to put a thesis together that is absolutely mathematically solid, and that means it's been deliberately hid. So, I'm on board with people getting frustrated and saying, "Oh man, all history is fake." But like I've exhibited in hundreds of videos, there's truth kernels that we can call them Easter eggs. They've been put there for a reason to be found.
Yep, I agree. Yep. And that's the thing that people are, that they don't get sometimes. They're like, oh, well, all that information, it was all just put in by the Jesuits or by this or by that, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, it's kind of like the CIA thing that they're saying today. It's like, look, dude, you've actually looked through a lot of garbage information to find the Easter eggs. That's what people aren't getting. Like, there's an awful lot of work to find those things. And those things, they connect mathematically from all these different vantage points. So it's not a joke. You're not just pulling some idea from and saying, oh, I'm going to just force this to be true. You're looking at the evidence, and some things become true. Some things are like impossible. So you have to just brush them away because they may make no sense. But then some things are just mathematically concordant. And so you can't ignore it, right? Just like you can't ignore something changing that was true. You can't just wish it away, Anyway, so I'll go quickly through some movies and TV, maybe. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, beam me up, Scotty, was never said in Star Trek. Never said. It was
on, man.
Yeah,
you're saying that's a new Mandela?
Oh no, that's a few years old. Yeah, but it's crazy.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah. Also, another Star Trek one. They said space, the final frontier. You know that one? Yeah. Now I think it says now I think it says space, a final frontier. Just one of the frontiers. It's a frontier, maybe. I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
What does he say instead of beam me up, Scotty?
Various versions. He says, I've gone through various things. He says, Scotty, beam me up. Or Scotty, beam us up.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. He never says, beam me up, Scotty. And so you think
everybody in the world says that, and I think that.
And so people are going to say, well, I think, I guess I remember it wrong. I mean, we said beam me up, Scotty, because it sounded more catchy. You're like, don't you think the TV writers would want a catchy line? Like, why did they choose all the clumsy lines and the rest of us use the good line? What? I mean, it's like, like the Matrix, that line isn't there. How can that, what if I told you that everything you know is a lie? That line is not there.
What Matrix changes have you got? What Matrix changes?
Okay, there are a couple other Matrix changes, but for me, that's the main one. That's the main one that I should actually study that one more, because I'm sure there are tons more, and there's probably
they changed the Oracle halfway through the series, didn't they? Maybe that was the Mandela effect.
Yeah, she's a white woman now.
No, man,
No, they never. You wish they would change Donald Trump to Rupert Slobotnik, right? And then they say, yeah, Rupert Slobotnik against Biden. And people be like, what? No. Then you'd have, then you might have a couple billion people going, waking up. So they don't make it so easy for us, right? They got to make it a little bit tricky.
That's a good point, Shiva. The Mandela effect is never something that is just blatantly obvious to the whole collective. It is always something that is designed for those who are watching to notice, and those who are blind basically will stay that way.
Yeah, it's pretty harmless as well. It's like it's not killing anybody, Mandela effect, is it?
I can't think of a single negative
aspect to it.
There's no Mandela effects I can think of that ever hurt anybody.
No.
I'll tell you though, some people are really attached to their songs and their movies, and they're like, no, you can't do that to my Bee Gees song or my Red Hot Chili Peppers or whatever. No, like they're really pissed, So then they may get so distraught they may just jump off a building. So I mean, maybe it has caused a few, but then they probably would have found another excuse, not the Mandela effect, to do that.
What's up? Ruin our collections.
Okay.
Come on, do it,
man, dude. Don't touch my heavy metal, bro.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, that's the thing. It can actually be pretty disturbing, like songs.
There's Floyd changes I heard. Some Pink Floyd changes I heard.
Something. One thing that I don't want. Not that probably the Mandela effect will say, no, let's change stuff on them, is musical ones. Okay, you can change the words a little bit to popular songs, but don't change the actual music, like the melody. Yeah. Don't make a D minor. And no, don't do that. And I know they've done that, but that's not. People wouldn't notice that very much. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's something a lot of people might not notice. They go, I thought it went da da da, but now it goes da da da. I'm like, all right. I guess I heard it wrong, right? But if you're a musician, you're like, no. And so,
you're a musician. You listen to music properly, then, don't you? It changes.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're young. When you're young, you're really listening, in the words and everything, and it stays with you forever. And then later on, they tell you, no, they didn't sing that. They sang this. Okay, imagine if you will. Yeah. On the Twilight Zone, imagine if you will. That one to me is just no way. I heard that so many times. The original Twilight Zone?
Yeah, come.
Rod Serling.
Rob Sterling had his name changed as well, because apparently it was Sterling. Now it's Serling.
I remember Serling. That's one where I remember Rod Serling as a kid. So there's one where, but I think it might have been Sterling. I just can't say for sure because my memory is that. So even though I'm on board with 1,000 Mandela effects, whatever, there's a couple that I'm like, you can look at Stavely, right? He remembers, no, I'm your father, right? Like everyone remembers Luke, I am your father, but he remembers, no, I am your father.
About Star Wars, 100%, Luke, I am your father.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
for me it is. Yes.
I memorized Star Wars and Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. You memorized it?
Damn right.
From the top. Yeah. and you got to list the best boy and the grip and all that at the end too. Okay. What if I told you? Yeah. All right. Life is like a box of chocolates. We've gone through that one. Forrest Gump. Now it's life was like a box of chocolates.
No.
Very strange.
That's just stupid.
Yes, it is. I may not be a smart man. My mom always told me life was like a box of chocolates. So anyway, it's like I may not be a smart man. So I may not be a smart man is now. I'm not a smart man. I'm not a smart man. So that's right, Tom, you're not. But the thing is, that's a minor change. Something is being said there about a smart. The Mandela effect is like, look, even a slow-witted semi-retard can be used to transmit the Mandela effect. There's some kind of message in there. I'm not sure what it is to decode, but it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Obviously, Mr. Rogers. Lucy, you've got some staining to do. Now, come on. Do you remember I Love Lucy?
Yeah, it's a biggie. Yeah, definitely.
Desi Arnaz.
And Desi Arnaz, N-E-Z, which is nose in French. The nose, the tiny hats. Anyway, Desi Arnaz is now Desi Arnaz. Desi-Arnaz, N-A-Z.
Oh, they changed it?
Yeah, Ashtanaz or Natsisi or some C. I don't know, some message there. I don't know. But the thing is, okay, so yeah, Lucy, you've got some explaining to do, has never been said. It's just never been said. But you ask people.
Yeah, man, they're toning. A bunch of doctors.
Okay, this one's very famous. Everybody knows it. Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Build it and he will come.
Yeah, it used to be, if you build it, they will come.
Okay.
Now it's if you build it, he will come.
Yeah. Well.
The thing is, if you start listening to the he will come enough times, it starts to sound like the real thing. This is the other weird thing. Even though you remember the old one, right? If you listen to the new version enough times, it starts to almost overtake the old memory. And you're like, no. But not that I care. Okay, here's something that someone mentioned this one before. I'll be a huckleberry. Okay, so in the film Tombstone with Val Kilmer, he plays
Val Kilmer says it. I'll be your huckleberry.
Now he says, I'm your huckleberry.
Yeah, that's not right either. Yeah, you're right.
That one is 100%. There's no way. Okay, and also Jaws. Come on, Martin, you know it. This one about the boat. What is needed here? The fish comes out and then and he turns to the captain.
Yeah, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, we're going to need a bigger boat. Yeah. And that's been quoted and parodied by now. It's you're going to need a bigger boat, right?
Yeah, I know. It's not.
As a script writer and a movie maker, I would be, dude, you got to change that line. That makes no sense because the captain is like, what do you mean? You're going to need a bigger boat. The captain's like, dude, you're the one fighting the fish. It's your problem, it's ridiculous. They're always a bit of a degradation, except for the human anatomy changes, which I think are an improvement.
Yeah, they're quite big, aren't they?
I think they are. And I think they're an improvement, but the other things are like a degradation. Like the line sounds more stupid. It makes less sense. It's like, huh? You know what I mean? Like, shut down all the trash compactors on the detention line.
I had a Star Wars game, right? When I was a kid, a board game. And there's one bit with the trash compactor in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the board game. Yeah, it was a big part of my game. It was like, I'll go through the trash compactor, but it's not that anymore.
Man, we got another one. Here's another one of those comments. I just posted another comment. They're evidently not paying attention or they don't know what they're talking about. I told you guys, man, don't make comments on my channel and think I'm not going to call you out.
It's okay, though, right? I get it.
Address this over and over and over and over and over, man. It ain't something that's just happening on the internet. People are digging the originals out in their attics and all that stuff like that. It ain't just something happening on the internet. This Mandela effect is happening in material reality. Really old objects are being changed, and this is because we live in a construct. And those who are still trying to cling to this physical reality and stuff, they're never going to wrap their mind around Mandela effect. They're never going to do it. No. You're going to come up with every weird excuse as to why it's just somebody messing with you. That's all it is. That's what you're going to do.
I mean, people like to be comfortable and they like to feel, more secure. And the Mandela effect, it makes people feel insecure. Some of us, it makes us feel liberated. We're like, oh, this is great. I always knew reality was fluid. Now I have absolute proof. I mean, this is just proof that it's fluid. We don't pretend to know how it's happening, and we don't pretend to know what the realm is, but we can see what the realm is not, and it is not.
It's not fixed. Yeah. It's not static.
No way. We're going to need a bigger boat to get all these animals on board when the flood of knowledge comes. All right.
Interview with a vampire, or is it interview with the vampire?
Oh, interview with a vampire. It is not interview with the vampire. No, but now it's and it always has been. But
I'm sure all your words are grammatically correct. Who am I to argue?
Yeah, I mean, so is it a vampire he's doing, or is it the vampire?
Here's another one. Here's another one that can't wrap their mind around it.
Yeah. Oh no, I've heard them all. I've read every possible.
Shaggy, Scooby Doo's my favorite. That's fucking my head right there.
Well, we're getting to that one. So let's get okay. Let's finish the Star Wars stuff. Okay, you got Luke, I am your father. You got C-3PO now has a silver leg.
Ah, but I have residue. I showed Brian Staveley. I have a model with silver leg.
I had one in 1970 when
they showed the movie 76. Yeah.
When Star Wars came out, I had Chewbacca, I had C-3PO, I had R2-D2. It was gold, man. It was the official. It wasn't a Chinese knockoff. China wasn't making it.
No, it's heavy bit, weighty bit of metal. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Now as a silver leg. Wookiee. Here's one that a lot of people don't know. You know Wookiee? W-O-O-K-I-E. You know Chewbacca. W-O-O-K-I-E is now W-O-O-K-I-E-E.
No way, man.
Yeah, it's gay.
Yeah, they're messing with my Star Wars now. I'm not feeling
that. Who knows the Wookiee Homeworld? Hey, come on, start.
It's just, I'm at least it doesn't say Wookiee. I mean, that would, Anyway, so you got Laurel and Hardy. What's their most famous line? Laurel and Hardy.
There's another fine mess you got me into.
100%. I watched countless shows of theirs when I was young, and now it's not fine mess. It's now that's another nice mess you've got.
Wow.
100%. That one's groundbreaking because that's just iconic. That's part of and but I guess the CIA just got to those guys and just did their little magic. And here, speaking of CIA nonsense, here in the Maldives, I talked to a guy who had watched Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs like 50 times. He has a VHS tape that his mother was given by her mother. It's been in the family. It's a VHS tape. It's not online, Bread and Circus. So anyway, so I told him, oh, what did the Wicked Witch say? And he said, mirror, mirror on the wall, right? And I'm like, exactly. Go home now and check that. Now it will say magic mirror. And he's like, wow, really? So he went home. Before he put it in, he said to his sister, hey, what do you remember? She says, mirror, mirror on the wall. Of course, yeah, okay. So they put it in. Seen it 50 times over the years. Now that same VHS tape, not online, says magic mirror on the wall. So anyway, I guess the CIA hopped on a plane to the Maldives, snuck into his mother's basement, chloroformed the building, put everyone to sleep so they wouldn't notice when rummaging through their, here's a VHS tape. We must bring this back to CIA headquarters and change it to magic mirror. We'll fucking mind.
Maybe they bring the equipment with them to edit the videos. No, makes more sense.
But maybe they have portable magic wand editing software. Probably they do. They're just magical beings. They got us by the balls. There's nothing we can do. Okay, right on. No fear. Okay, Alice in Wonderland. What does the rabbit say? The famous line.
I'm late for a very important date.
That's a good one. But the other one about being mad. Okay, it's we're all mad here. We're all mad here, right? Now it's most everyone's mad here.
Is this when she's interacting with the Mad Hatter?
Yes. And the Mad Hatter says, we're all mad here. And people have made like tattoos on their, I made a tattoo. I just made a mistake on my body. Really? There's artwork all over the place. We're mad here. There's posters. There's everything. And it's like, I guess it was we're all, but it actually was always most everyone's mad here. That's not A to the into with that's very close, right? This is most everyone's from we're all. That's just really different. Okay, Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay, Dallas used to have a white picket fence. Now it has a black fence. If anybody knows the TV show Dallas.
Oh yeah, God yeah. JR.
No white picket fence. It's black. There's a lot of this white to black change, like Kurt Cobain singing that song, in the Nirvana Unplugged or whatever. There's a bunch of white candles. A bunch.
Yeah,
of
I've seen that scale.
Now
Yeah,
it's
I know
black
that.
candles.
Black
It's all
candles.
black candles now. Kurt Cobain used to wear some little sweater thing. Now the sweater's totally changed. I don't really care about that. I'm just noticing. Like, do not think that I love all these pop culture things because I'm naming them. I'm just naming them, right? I was like, so the Wizard of Oz. Okay. The Scarecrow.
What color are the slippers?
Ruby red.
Oh, are they now? Well, they're not because they're green.
No, they've always been red, but the socks have changed. Her socks have changed color. Yeah. And now, and also, what does she do with the ruby slippers? She
clicks the heels together and says home sweet home.
Click. But now she doesn't click her heels. Now it's tap your heels. Do a little tap dance. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Little tap dance. So the nice witch, the good witch says, you know, it was with you all along. You just have to tap your heels. It was click your heels. We know it because it's one of the most famous lines.
Yeah.
Anyway, another famous line, very famous line. Fly, my pretties, fly. Remember that one?
Yeah.
She said, fly my pretties.
The flying monkeys.
Talking about those ugly ass monkeys.
Yeah. And now she doesn't say that. She doesn't say fly, my pretties, fly. But that is an iconic line. We all know.
Yes, it is. It's iconic. You're right.
The Scarecrow has a gun.
What?
And he always had a gun.
What? No. Hang on. Whoa.
Yeah. The Tin Man has a pipe wrench. He's got a pipe wrench.
I didn't think any of them ever had anything in their hands.
He didn't have a gun.
No.
Yeah, well, fucking pitchfork for hay. The Scarecrow.
Yeah. It's crazy. The Wizard of Oz is full of them. I'm not even listing them all here, but I'm going to list you the main ones that are beyond, that are like really obvious. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, right? You know that one. Now it's pay no attention to the man behind that curtain. You know, small change, but it's
very small.
Yeah, I know I know it was.
It's still got some, right?
Yeah. The Tin Man now has a metal bow tie. This is pretty new. And something like a buttoned up collared shirt collar.
Yeah, he has a collar, but I can't imagine a bow tie.
Bro, he's got this upturned weird collar and he has a bow tie made of metal. I've never seen it. And there's a little dot here in his third eye area. Very odd. Very odd. Tin Man. Tin Man's changing. And there's also this button. I mean, it's buttons and then this collar. It's very strange. So who knows? I can't even remember.
He had like an axe, didn't he, the Tin Man? Because she was always in his hands and then she jumped on his head.
Yeah, man. It's insanity. Okay, Toy Story. You know, I don't really know Toy Story that well, but this is a very well-known Mandela effect for a lot of people. And it doesn't make sense. Woody, the cowboy, you know the cowboy?
Yeah, Woody.
He has a string. When you pull the string, he says various phrases. One of them is, there's a snake in my boot. There's a snake in my boot. Yeah. Now he says, there's a snake in my boots. Okay, so what? It's only an S. But you know something? As Matt from Quantum of Conscience says, there's no real difference between the dash on a Kit Kat or some huge Tartarian building that just appears one day. I mean, there's stuff that's just inserted into this
Dark City.
What do you want to call it? Simulation, dream, blah, 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 whatever word, you know, strikes your fancy. But, you know, Jason's talked about this too. You've talked about this, Jason, about whole civilizations that just seem to be dropped in. Stuff raining from the sky, Charles Forts. I mean, what is that? What's going on? There's just like these whole insertions, and then also societies that just disappeared with no trace.
What about my older videos where I'm showing the evidence from the 1800s of the insect plagues, when the construct was put on notice by the collective that something's wrong? There's not a single insect in all the British Isles. Remember? And I have a lot of my earlier videos are ignored, but I got a lot of earlier videos that demonstrate from the historical record simulation theory when the construct became aware because people started talking about it and started publishing articles and newspapers started focusing on where are all the rats, where are all the mice, and then they thought, well, they got nothing to eat. There's no insects in the UK, and then what happened? It rained rivers of insects for weeks. Then it started a plague. Then they had to hire chimney sweeps just to take care of the problem. Then they spent 6 or 7 weeks burning mounds of insect husks. It's like the construct, like the Mandela effect. The construct realizes there's a problem only because human awareness is now focused on it. Yeah. So it tries to correct it, but when it was caught flat-footed, it overcorrects. It's very interesting. It's like when the tide is too low, what happens? A damn tsunami comes in. It's like it doesn't really balance things like it's supposed to. It's like it's an overcorrection.
Right. Yeah, that's fascinating. The idea of correction is interesting too. You know, when you're talking about the Mandela effect and what's the purpose of it, like just to get people's attention. Well, if you look at the work of John Lamlash, who's done this like really deep dive on decoding the Mandela effect, right? He talks about Sophia's correction. He talks about we're getting messages. He's saying the same thing that we are. We're actually getting messages from the whether you want to call it God or the Oversoul or the Divine Mother.
Who says this?
John Lamlash, and he's talking about how we're getting these messages sent to us, and first it's just to get our attention. You know, it's like obvious things. It pings back and forth, so we get our attention. Say, hey, what's going on here? And then we become aware that something is communicating with us. And it's not a person, it's not, human technology, it's something that is controlling the whole realm, right? And this is basically the same thing that we're saying. And part of the message is the correction. Something has happened in this place where this archonic element, these archons, these nasty parasites have come and they're, running the show here. And this Sophia, planetary mother, or God, or Oversoul, or Brahma, however you want to describe it, is communicating to you, showing you who are the players that are involved in this parasite relationship and how you might be able to correct that if you feel like doing that. So it's kind of interesting stuff, but it goes very deep into decoding about 40 Mandela effects and how they're all related to each other. Because the Mandela effect is often not just in a vacuum on itself. It's related to other Mandela effects. There's some strange kind of pattern and language that's going on with the interlocking, meaning this one is related to this one, related to this one, related to this one. And it's funny because you're dealing with some stupid stuff like Febreze and Depends, adult diapers, and you're like, wow, this is a nonsense, right? I can be a bit of a snob. Like, I just want to get into interesting information. Why am I mucking about in all this pop culture shite? This is just nonsense. But this is really deep stuff. Like, I'm not an idiot who gets easily fooled by some stupid narrative. I'm very skeptical. And this is just unassailable and profound. Like, I don't have to defend the Mandela effect. It's so thorough and so supernatural and so amazing that you can't, you can try to say CIA or this or that, but it's silly, actually. If you really understand and you've had the experience yourself, you won't deny it. It's just obvious, right? But, where do we go from here? I don't know. Let me say a few more. Alice in Wonderland, Dallas, Wizard of Oz. Okay, Tin Man. Where's Woody, Dolly's braces, and Moonraker? I don't really have to explain that one. That one's so obvious, right? That's one of the most profound. I know people who say, I think the Mandela effect is bullshit, but I know that Dolly had braces.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good for you. I mean,
Yeah, they want it both ways.
That's selective.
It's pretty weird, but I mean, if it can be proven in one way, it can be proven in other ways, and it's proven in so many other ways. Okay, Looney Tunes, TOONS, changed to Looney Tunes, as in TUNES. That's a big one. That's quite profound, right? Roadrunner.
Man, I love Roadrunner.
Meet me.
Yeah, the coyote catches you. Now, what did the Roadrunner used to say?
Meet me.
Oh, damn, you're a meeper. No, I'm a beeper. You're a meeper. It's okay. We can still be friends.
Okay.
I remember.
You're a beeper.
I remember him saying with a B, beep 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 beep. But now he says it with an M, like it's
I'm a
obviously.
meet then. Sorry.
Yeah, it's no. It's okay. I've met other meepers as well. It's a thing. We can meep in the middle. Don't weep over fried meat, dude. We got a beep 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 popping along. What do you remember, Jason? You can be the deciding vote in the beep and the beep debate.
Now that I've been put on the spot, I can't remember what I remember, bro.
Okay, just don't get involved. Don't get it. Let's leave it at a stalemate and agree to meep on and beep on. God, maybe I'll just be an honorary meep just to not rock the boat here. But I definitely remember with a B, but now it's meep meep. Yeah. Different people have talked, Moneybags has talked about that one. I tend to think it's beep beep, but I have met several people who say meep meep. So
no, I don't know meep meep, Shiva. I'm sorry, you're the only beep beep, mate.
Oh, dude. Well, there you go. I mean, I'm willing to admit that I've had some weird memory implanted in me. It's possible. It really is possible. Oh, let me explain that. You know how
ShivaShampoo, it brainwashed you.
Oh yeah, I got the ShivaShampoo is just seeped into my brain and it's just washed away some parts of my memory and then replaced it with something else. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. So look, here's a theory here. Okay, for me, airplane engines 100%.
Yeah, I know this one.
Underneath the wing. Now they're way the hell up in the front and it looks structurally unsound and insane. Now, there's people who are going to be like, okay, so then again, people say, hey, I'm a pilot or I'm a pilot technician, right? You're not the person to ask this one because all the pilots, they will say the engines have always been there, right? Any surgeon will say the heart has always been there. The kidneys have always been there. The kidneys used to be down and now the kidneys have moved up behind the rib cage. They're more protected now. I think the human anatomy ones are an upgrade, and it could be an upgrade for something that's coming in the future. I don't know. These are just speculations. Just saying. There are the bone behind the eyes. Now there's a bone behind the eye.
Yeah, it used to be a big socket. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is more protected. There's something on the head where instead of this simple opening, I had it written down. I don't feel like looking at it. And it's different. And it's a slight improvement. Sorry, my teeth, you knocked out what to do. There are a few anatomy changes that are, they don't seem to be a degradation like other Mandela effects. They really do seem like improvements. Okay, so my point is the surgeon, if you ask the surgeon and the doctor, they're going to tell you, no, the kidneys have always been there. All right. I have friends that studied anatomy. They opened up many bodies. They know where the kidneys were in all these different male, female shapes and sizes. They know, but they didn't become a doctor. They didn't become a surgeon. They're doing something else. They remember it the original way. But people who are surgeons and have to do the actual surgery, they have had, my theory, I don't know how else to explain it, their memory overwritten with the new reality because they have to perform a surgery. If they had the old reality, they'd be cutting into the wrong, oops, oh no, I thought your kidney was there. Oh, my bad. You can't have that going on. Yeah. And the guy, the airline pilot and the technician, can you imagine your mental state if you've been flying all your life, right? And suddenly you look and you're like, the engines have moved and everybody's telling you that they've always been there. And you're like, no way. That might be a little bit disturbing for an airline pilot and the airline technician. So those guys, they're the experts, just like the surgeons. They have their memories overwritten and the new memory overlaid. So you say, I'm going to ask the experts, were the kidneys there? I'm going to ask the experts, were the engines there? In this case, they're definitely not the people to ask. But anyone who's made 500 flights as a passenger and has looked at, and I've studied airplanes when I was a child and onwards, I know the engines were there. I know. And I know other people who will just die on that hill. They know it was there. It took so many flights, they know. And now they're trying to tell you the engines have always been way the heck there in the front. It's very strange.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah. So I'm willing to admit that I've had my memory screwed. I don't know the mechanism. I don't know how it actually works. So I'm not going to say my memory is superior to all of you at all times. I'm a beep beep for Roadrunner. As far as I know, that's what it always was. But I'm willing to say maybe I'm wrong, you know? Maybe I've had my memory overwritten by the CIA monster, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? Who knows who's doing it? But something is up. Like, I know the kidneys moved, but no surgeon is going to tell you. Maybe a retired one. I know a guy that had kidney surgery, and he had a tattoo, and he had surgery on his kidneys. And then years later, he had to have, again, kidney surgery. And it moved. Like, he was like, what? He knew 100% that the thing had moved. And he was from Europe, from Eastern Europe. And he traveled, I think it was in India when he was getting the thing. And there was an old doctor there. And he asked the guy, because the other doctors were like, no, the kidney's always been there. But he asked this old guy there. And the guy was like, he nodded. He agreed with him. He said, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, he didn't want to talk about it. So...
this must be a recent body change, because I remember like them being lower in the back, because when you used to punch people in the back in school, you punch them in the kidneys, punch them in the lower back.
100%. That's why you have kidney pads in football. That's why there's an illegal kidney punch in boxing and MMA. Now, illegal kidney punch, there's no kidney there. So, pretty weird.
Shiva, this is like the third or fourth time somebody named Dave's Mumsy has asked. They say, could you please ask about the first Avatar movie release year Mandela effect? I don't know.
This happens sometimes when things change. Like, you're like, hey, I know that song came out in 2018, but they're saying that it came out in 2016. There's like these weird things like this too. And it's really hard to prove. Oh, that song by the Black Eyed Peas, you know, you were so 3008. You're so 3008. I'm so 3000 and late, right? It used to be I'm so 2008. Now it's I'm so 3008, because the timing of the song when it came out is supposedly changed. I cannot say about the Avatar movie. I cannot say. I just don't know. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wow. I can't know them all. But it would not surprise me. There have been some films that were supposed to have come out in 1 year. And of course, people are going to say, oh, you just remember it wrong. And people do remember things wrong. People have, they do have fallible memories. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, seeing something 500 times and knowing that it's true. I mean, some of them are just really obvious. Here's a really obvious one that you already know. Scooby-Doo, Shaggy lost his Adam's apple. Now
that's blasphemy. That's just going to that's going straight to the core of the problem right there. That's absolute blasphemy.
So you see, Jason, it's true. Some Mandela effects, they harm you, right? You can feel it. You feel the pain.
Man.
Don't fuck with the Scooby-Doo.
I got 2 Scooby-Doo shirts, and I even showed off with Martin here my Scooby-Doo lunchbox.
Oh yeah,
I'll square business about Scooby-Doo.
He's even got a Scooby-Doo van, guys.
I even have a mystery machine. I got the van.
Exactly, man. It's unbelievable. I feel like drowning myself in tons of bread and circuses. The CIA, they defeated us.
So when he's in trouble, Shaggy, he doesn't swallow like that anymore, does he?
What does he do now?
I don't know.
What that gulp thing on the Paranormies, you were talking about that too. He was like, I think it was.
And he's had a Scooby snack stuck in his throat. I remember that one too.
Dude, it's hard to imagine what. Okay, Lassie, the big dog.
Yeah.
There was a famous episode where Timmy fell in the well. All right, Timmy fell in the well, and I think the guy who played Timmy even wrote a book about it, and I think it's called Timmy Falls in the Well, or yeah. And this woman went up to him and asked him, like, why did you name the book this? And he was like, I don't know. Like, she went up to him personally and like, what? So this is like a really famous episode. I don't know Lassie well. I'm not up on my Lassie, but people who know it will swear on their grandmother's grave that Timmy fell in the well and Lassie was like, bark, 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 and he was trying to get people's attention to save Timmy, right? Yeah. Now he's never happened. Just like the movie Shazam, never happened. The movie Shazam with Sinbad, right? You know that one?
We all saw that movie. Yeah.
And then there's Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal, right? So people are like, okay, so you mixed up this. Oh yeah, it must have been that movie. I mixed up a small little dude with a huge. No, different movie. I mean, I know people that can tell you what happened in the movie, the whole plot. They said I really liked it. I saw it a few times. I saw it with my husband. And it's just. And now they're saying it never existed. Like this movie just never was made. And so you think, oh, this Sinbad, he must be in on it, right? He must be part of the paid thing. This is where it gets weird. Do the people know that they're involved? Like, does Sally Fields know that her name is now Sally Field? Does Christopher Reeves, did he know that his...
I really don't think Sally Field would have ever noticed.
Well, yeah, she's like, you like me. You really like me. You remember that? Yeah, remember she said that?
I think it had changed her driver's license. I don't think she'd ever noticed.
Dude, okay. Do you remember when she got the Oscar, right?
Yeah.
Remember that? And then what did she say? She did this speech, right? And in the speech at the end, she said, you like me. You really like me, right? Do you remember this? People quote it all the time, like she's quoted herself saying that. And people quote this, they're making fun of her. Like there's been comedy shows about you like me, you really like me. But now it says, you like me right now. You like me. That's what she says. It's so strange. And it sounds clumsy. And all these people are quoting it. So the thing is, if we didn't have residue, we'd be just depending on our memory and say, well, okay, maybe she did say that, but I'm pretty sure she said you like, but we have all these parodies. So the parodies don't change. Someone, The Simpsons or some comedy show that's making a parody of it. That thing remains the same. The finger statue will change. But if you made a sketch with it, with your hand, your sketch would remain the same. If you took a photo of it, though, the photo changes. Strange, no?
Right.
I'm just noticing some things. Now, it doesn't have to be this way. If it wants to change things, it will change things. There was a Bible. Here's a good one. There was a 100-year-old KJV Bible, right? And you open it up, and there's this beautiful art. You'd love this book, Jason. It was really beautiful looking, right? It was more than 100 years old. And there's there's the Bible, the text, and then on some pages, there's some beautiful artwork with some calligraphy inside.
Right.
And the artwork had some various things in it. And in the artwork were the words written in hand, Isaiah 11:6, the lion shall lay with the lamb.
Wow.
But on the page of the Bible itself, it says the wolf.
I can go get a 150-year-old Bible out the library right now. We can look it up.
Please do it. Please do it, because there's nothing there's no substitute for actual physical in your face.
Yeah, I asked a theologian in London at Speaker's Corner, and he fucked it up. It was like, it's a Mandela effect. He's going, it's not a Mandela effect. It's like,
I don't blame him. So
this guy was doing like a 70-year-old. He's been doing it all his life. He's like a layman preacher in Speaker's Corner in London. He does this every Saturday, and he still messed it up. Yeah.
It's amazing. Oh yeah, all those preachers, you can get them on all of these. It's disturbing for them, but come on, guys.
Ooh, we got the juice.
There we go.
This is it. Show it to you right now.
Cool.
You can see that. All right.
Beautiful.
So, what Isaiah what?
11:6. Isaiah 11:6. Now that you've got your Bible,
Oh,
why don't I go through all the Bible changes? Okay, well, let's leave the movies and TV because I've got several more of the movies and TV. If you
Isn't the
want.
Lord's Prayer completely changed?
Yes,
In the
trespasses
KJV.
and on to in.
Yeah. What the,
Yep.
I know. And everyone have always said that all their life, knows that.
And
by
you've
heart.
you've
Yeah.
said it thousands of times, but somehow you've always been saying it wrong. Oh, well, I guess
Apparently.
I'm retarded. Yeah.
That one is a mind blow, the Lord's Prayer changing.
Okay.
That is something.
Our
yeah.
Father who art in heaven,
Hallowed
hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now it's in earth.
Hey, Isaiah 11, what?
11:6.
Okay, here it is right here. Wow, that's amazing. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf, and the young lion, and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. Yeah. It was always lion lay down with the lamb.
You know, no, Jason, I don't think you know your Bible. You haven't read it enough. You just remember.
You shut your blaspheming mouth.
You just need some more bread and circuses, buddy. You got to get it. Got to get with the programmer. Okay, Matthew 18:20.
Wow.
Matthew 18:20. Check it out.
I have a painting right here on the wall of the lion and the lamb together. It is a classic, very old painting. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to move the camera so everybody can see. Yep. No one would have painted this if it wasn't in the Bible.
Wow.
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
There's so much lion and lamb residue. So much. It's insanity.
Do you see that?
Yep. Yep.
Hey, hit that switch. Hit that switch right there. Hit that switch.
That is super crazy.
That is the lion and the lamb. It's an old painting. That painting wouldn't have been done if that. Look at that.
Yeah.
If that hadn't been in the Bible.
Yeah, that's nice.
How'd you figure that?
Yep. It's gorgeous. There are pubs in England called the Lion and the Lamb pub.
Yeah.
There are stained glass on church windows. There are old paintings. There's art throughout history that has lions and lambs. And I've heard people try to justify this, but have fun. I don't even mind anymore. I don't even get offended. I just figure whatever. I mean, maybe they'll come to it later. I don't know. It's not my problem. It's not my dilemma.
I had no idea that painting was on the wall behind me. Dawn came over here. Dawn was going.
For sure. No, it's a really iconic one, and it's one that's really slays people. So Jason, check out, now that you got your Bible, check out Matthew 18:20. Chapter 18, verse 20. Everybody in the chat, go get your personal Bibles and witness the change for yourselves. And we will chomp on bread and circuses until our minds are numb and Mandela into jello. Oh, yes, indeed.
These old Bibles are amazing.
Gorgeous.
They're just absolutely amazing. I'm going to show you something real quick. Okay. See, there's the end of the book of Revelation right here.
Cool.
Revelation chapter 21.
Oh, dude.
Hold on.
I
need to show you something.
Jason, can I ask you? I remember Book of Revelations with an S. Now it's Book of Revelation, but many, many, many people remember the Book of Revelation.
I used to call it Revelation.
Me too. All my life. I read the Bible.
No. I used to call it Revelation.
It's with an S. It's a Mandela effect. I have residue for it.
Do you see the vertical part? That's Genesis through Revelation, the vertical part right here.
Whoa.
The rest of these old Bibles is all Bible dictionary, concordance, lexicons. That's how comprehensive these were.
Right.
You could do everything in this book. So more than 50% of this old book, 150 years old, is all the research tools that go with the Bible.
Right, like Strong's Concordance, yeah.
It's all in there, yeah. So what did you want me to look up?
Matthew 18:20.
Okay. 18:20.
It's a very famous line from the Bible, one of the most famous, and I heard it hundreds of times growing up.
18:20 is getting close to the prophecy parts. Let's see. which I need to do another video on.
1820.
Where's 19? So 1820. Are you talking about
For where two
for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
Yeah. Well, I know 100%, even more than 100%, it was where 2 or more are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. So God's
You're
like,
right. You're
100%.
Right. 2 or more gathered in my name.
2, 3, 4, or 5,000 is all encompassed in that. But in the new version, God's like, look, if there's 2 of you or 3 of you, I'll hang out with you. But as soon as there are 4, I'm getting out of town. Does that make sense? No, it makes no sense.
You're right, dude. You're absolutely right. To say
It's
3 would have been dumb. It's
dumb as hell. And I'll
it's
tell
totally,
you,
it's totally restrictive.
now
Right.
this one was used in the recent psyop that happened in 2020, right? That fake thing. During that thing, the governor of Indiana said, we are limiting social gatherings. You know, they were saying we don't want more than 5 people or 10 people or whatever. It's illegal.
Yeah.
He said this, it even says in the Bible, 2 or 3, it doesn't say 300.
Wow.
Clever, huh? Now he
Artificial intelligence X has struck.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to say that if it was now that you're in Matthew, I've got another Matthew for you. Matthew 7:1.
Is that a Matthew 4:20?
We hit over 2,000 in the chat. Thank you, guys.
You'll be judged by this. You'll see what I mean.
Hit that like button, guys. Appreciate it.
It's a famous line. It's one of the most famous in the Bible.
Matthew 7 what?
7:1.
Judge not. Matthew
no,
7.
lest ye be judged. Come on, man. Judge not that ye be not judged. They totally broke up the syntax.
It's retarded. It used to be judge not, lest ye be judged.
That's exactly how it would be, because the entire Bible is so much data that they always used the grammar and syntax that would be the most abbreviated format that would convey the most information. This right here elongates the sentence unnecessarily.
But read it. It doesn't even make sense now. Read it out loud. Read it.
That ye be not judged. That's not at all. Yeah.
I mean, it makes, you can make it make sense, but it's clumsy as heck, isn't it?
It's not cool.
Yeah, not cool. Okay, Exodus.
Oh, man, I'm not going to do a whole lengthy Bible study.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've actually there's a few hundred, but I'm just going to get to the ones that are unassailable because it's just like what? Well, this one's hilarious.
Exodus begins the narrative of the burning bush demon.
Oh, and this one's perfect for that.
Very different.
It explains
very
it.
different than Genesis.
Oh, it is, and you're going to love this one because it's whacked out. Exodus 34:14. Now let me. Okay. Yeah, just read it. You know the expression, I am a jealous God?
Yes.
You've heard that before, right? I am a jealous God. It's a very famous line from the Bible. Well, now listen to what it says. It still says he's a jealous God, but God has a new name.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, the God that's being referred to, the God of Exodus, that's the demon that jumped out of a burning bush. That's artificial intelligence X masquerading as God. So exactly. For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. It never said that. You're absolutely correct.
Never said that. Why? My name's Jealous. How's it going? This is my. I
thought God's name was Howard. Howard be thy name.
See, it used to say, for the Lord thy God is a jealous God. It says, thou shalt have no other gods before me, for the Lord thy God is a jealous God. That's the way it used to read.
I know. I know that line well. Anyway, it's insane. But, it's all just part of some plot, I guess. Anyway, so on earth as it is in heaven, now it's in earth as it is in heaven, the Lord's Prayer.
It's amazing, dude.
Yeah, and most of us, okay, some people say debts and debtors. They say, oh, it's Protestant, it's Catholic, it's whatever. But I remember, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. That's what I remember. Now it's forgive our debtors and pay them their loot.
Yeah, no.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
They
ridiculous.
commercialize the text.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. Hosea 4:6. It's a famous one. It's my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Do you know this one?
Yeah.
Really famous. Now look what it says. It's not perish anymore. It's my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Hosea 4 verse 6. Now, I was able to find it's changed in all 35 translations of the Bible, but in the Bishop's Bible of 1568 and in the Coverdale Bible of 1535, I have found perish with an E at the end. My people perish for lack of knowledge with a C. So they have the original because thou hast refused knowledge. The Coverdale is my people perish because they have no knowledge. Those are the only two. But every single all other 35 translations, and I mean online and in your house, have all changed from my people perish from lack of knowledge to destroyed. Perish has gone to destroyed. It's very strange. Oh, God, I didn't write this one down, but there's another one where Jesus says, bring them before me and slay them. And I'm telling you, he never said that. That's not what Jesus would say. He literally says, you check it out now. It's in the New Testament. I'll find it for you. But he says, bring that person here before me and slay them. Jesus, the hard ass. No, he didn't do that. Anyway, so pretty funny. John 14:6. Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the
light.
Light, right. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Now it says, Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
What?
And, light has changed to life.
Yep. I'm the way, the truth, and the light.
Okay, you know new wine in old wineskins? You know
Well,
that one?
he was called the light because his other title in the New Testament is Son of Righteousness. Son as in sun in the sky.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know. It's we can prove it from several different angles. That's the thing, right? Okay, now some of these are not universal. So you've got new wine into old wineskins, right? Is now old bottles. New wine into old bottles.
Yeah, that's crazy too.
A bottling factory back then, but only in the KJV and a couple others.
Yeah, well, you got people that like we got a few members of the collective in the chat. I've been catching up with them. I got their names down. They're absolutely hardliners. There's no such thing as Mandela, and they can't wrap their mind around it. Or they're just paid shills just here to make
people do it for free. People are pretty low rent these days. They'll do it for free.
They are. So, I mean, we have already taken into consideration that yes, people do make them up and other people copy them. We're not talking about those. We're not talking about the ones that are obvious fakes. We're talking about the ones that almost everybody agrees was a certain way. And yet, when you go research back far enough, we find out that the change has happened to the entire construct. Yeah, these people here, I'm starting to see a couple trolls in here. I got my eye on them. They ain't gonna laugh. I keep seeing these comments.
For me, it's great because I'm not actually reading the chat, but I am, I know whenever there's a Mandela talk, right? There's always the people, they come out like, if I don't like Britney Spears, I'm not going to go to a Britney Spears live thing and say, oh, this woman sucks. Her music's shit. Like, I'm just not going to do that. Why would I do that?
I got to come in my chat. I say, hey, for real, Shiva, just like he deals with it too. Well, you get to know the people in our chat because every comment they ever make is either toxic or antithetical to your position. Or I wonder why some people are even in Archaix. This is a simulation theory channel. You know what I mean? What are you doing? I'm about to stop asking questions. Just hit that delete button.
I think a lot of people they think they're on a mission from God, right? They got to show people the truth and all these deceivers and. Well,
did you say George Soros? They're on a mission from George who?
Georgie baby.
Somebody's got to be paying them. I mean, who actually spends all their free time just trolling channels?
Who does that?
Who's got the time and money to do that, man?
Yeah, that would just be weird.
At this point, maybe they're even like Chat GPT bot thingies.
Well,
just
we have
going,
considered
"Mandala,
Yeah, we have considered that too. That actually helps when we block them.
Yeah.
Considering that helps when we block them.
But there really are. Look, try to have compassion for people. I get pissed, when I'm not looking at the chat, so I'm not like, hey, I'm getting distracted. I'm not letting that into my informed field, not letting my informed field become my deformed field, right? Because I have heard every attack, every mental pretzel gymnastic justification for this. I know what they're going to say. They always think they're so clever, right? That I have the thing that's going to destroy your silly Mandela delusion. And I'm like, dude, I've heard that already 50 times.
Man, this is crazy.
Dude, I know,
Really, man, what are you doing here?
But it's okay. Like I just figure they think what they're doing is correct. Like if they're not being paid, right? If they're just doing it from their own time, they really do believe in what they're doing. And in their mind, they're trying to help people. We're like crazy delusional nutcases, and they're trying to like, come on, guys, come down to normal and be like me. And like they're being really helpful. And thank you for your help. But I'm doing my own thing, and I like to have awareness of stuff. When you're looking at this stuff, it appears more to you. As you often say, the construct is an observer-based reality that it's a reflective medium, right? So when you're aware of this stuff, then you start becoming aware of much more of it. And it's not just Mandela effect. Mandela effect is just this incredible supernatural phenomenon that's being used as a communication device by some divine thing to try to help us in some way, right? And if we accept the help, we can go along with it. If we choose to ignore it, then that's our choice, right? Some people are just, I'm sorry to say this, but they're not designed. It's a theory. I'm not saying I'm right. I just throwing it out there. Some people may not be designed to see these things, no matter what you say to them, no matter what like their job in life is to be that adversary and to try to trip you up and to make it challenging and to make your road to truth a rough one. And thank you, AIX. Let's have a tea. I'll give you a hug because you're providing
it's a mature way of looking at it.
It is. And this is me being mature, but like, off camera, I'm going to be like, yeah, bunch of retards. That's no, peace and love. All of you guys, I love you. But yeah, I'm trying to be mature. But I do a pretty good impression of a mature guy, right? Because I'm really just an angry wanker. But I do a good impression of a mature, respectful, compassionate guy. Anyway, come on, guys. All right, Genesis. Hey, what do you remember? What do you remember with Noah and the raven and the doves? Oh, sorry, the doves. Doesn't he send 2 doves? And one comes back with nothing, and one comes back with an olive leaf or olive branch, depending on what fence you're on.
Look, I'm going to tell you how I was raised in Vacation Bible School.
Yes, please tell me.
Noah released. Okay, after a certain period of time, Noah released the dove. Dove comes back, and the dove comes back, and that was evidence that the ground is still too wet. There's nowhere to go. So he sends another dove out on a second time, and it comes back with evidence that there's plants growing and there's something to do. And in the Christian narrative, the dove was emblematic of the Holy Spirit. So this is what I remember from Vacation Bible School about the story of Noah's Ark sending out the dove.
That's what I remember too. Okay, I remember this too. Now, let me read you Genesis 8, verses 6 to 12, or it may be most of it if you want to hear it. You want to hear it? Okay. Okay. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark, which he had made, and he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also, he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand, took her, pulled her to his ark. Okay. And he stayed yet another 7 days. And again, he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him in the evening. And lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. Olive leaf, right? So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet another 7 days and sent forth the dove again, which returned not again unto him anymore. So he sent the dove again, and the dove never came back. So you have a raven, then a dove that comes back with nothing, then a dove that comes back with an olive leaf, and then he sends a dove again, and the dove doesn't come back. Do you remember that? I don't remember.
I don't remember all that.
No.
Raven.
I don't remember a raven being in the story at all. And
not at all. Quote the raven nevermore. Yeah.
Isn't raven a carry-on bird?
It's a big, black, very smart bird.
But it's a carry-on. It's a crow. It's a carry-on bird. It's not like other birds.
Yeah. They'll eat. Well, they'll eat all kinds of things. Actually, they're pretty versatile.
Vulture? It's not like a vulture type bird.
Yeah, they're not solely a vulture, but they will, because they'll eat all kinds of stuff. But you're right.
There's a list in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, there's a list of clean and unclean animals, and I don't know where the crow stands in that.
Well, again, ravens in London.
Or where the raven stands in that.
Yeah, they're really. Well, there's a poem by Edgar Allan Poe, right? Edgar Allan Poe has the raven. Quote the raven nevermore. Yeah. Alan Parsons Project did an album on it, Quote the raven.
I thought he came back with a cannabis leaf, but I must have just imagined that.
I think he did, but they don't want to tell you that because they're trying to save all the stuff for themselves. Like, I think they don't want to let you know.
And he was like, praise be.
I don't mind this flood anymore. I'm feeling pretty chilled out about it all. Okay, that's Bible stuff. I'm not going to, that's all we can do for Bible. There's plenty more, but there's
1,000 of them. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, here's something, when people say, oh, that's just an internet change. I say, well, the physical body changes and the physical, the VW logo and the Ford logo, like an actual car, a hunk of metal, has changed all over the world. That's not internet. Here's another one that's not internet: geography.
Yeah, man, the geographical.
Yeah, man, you're right. You're absolutely correct.
Now, this, the guy, I won't mention his name. He's a nice guy. The guy who was the head of the Honor Society 2 years, and he gave you his business card and whatever, blah, 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 right? So I'm talking to him. Yeah, I'm Don. So
you're talking about Don Kosh.
Yeah. And he's like in his 70s, right? And he's done he's been around and blah, blah. I talked to him and I said, hey, man, take a look at South America.
Yeah, man.
And then he came back on and was like, no way. He was just blown. And he's in his 70s and he's just like, what? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I looked at globes. I had 2 globes. I even have a globe of Mars. I mean, a globe of cartoon stuff. But anyway, I had a political globe. I had a mountain one where you could feel the mountain ranges. And I looked at globes and maps so much. I knew all the capitals to every country. I know my geography, right? South America was not way the hell to the east.
No, man. And Central America offset this way as well.
Yeah. And people are going to say, oh, but, different map projections, different blah, blah, blah. No. This is not about that. This is about South America is it's like 1,500 miles or something to the east.
Okay, Shiva. Then we go right back to Dark City again. They shifted up. You remember in Dark City, they showed the whole city was actually on the top of a UFO. It was a flat Earth. It was a flat Earth dig. A flat Earth disc. They're looking. Listen, man. This begs the question. Martin has a file with about 300-400 old maps.
I sent it to Stavely before I had to know in Cosmographia. You're bound to have met that, seen that, Shiva. You've been following me.
I've been looking at all these maps, and I was actually
way further west, and Central America's more of a straight line.
Okay, well, check this out. Here's where I'm going with this. I've seen about 400 old maps from Martin's files, blowing my mind. Looking at all, so it begs the question: are the old maps really wrong? Were they right at the time?
This is it.
Well, if South America was there, then they were more right than they are today. Now they're insane.
I'm not just talking about South America. I'm talking about all these topographical changes that we see from century to century.
Sure.
all these maps.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
The contours of our existence change the more humans pondered them.
Probably that. It's the way of nature of consciousness. I think it's us doing it. You know, this is consciousness changing.
Yep. And in fact,
all is mind. So I think as the awakening happens, more of these Mandela effects are becoming apparent.
And this is the interesting thing. If you think about Mandela effects, like maybe the same thing is happening with Mandela effects, that we're causing them. So we can say for now, it's the divine communicating with us, but because we are part of the divine, it's actually us.
Yes, it's a connection. And I think these crop circles, you know, they're exhibiting messages as well. It's the same sort of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's another thing. People will say, oh, crop circles, it's all fake, it's all a hoax. It's like there are hoax ones, but how do you explain these? There's some that are so unbelievably, they're lying down, they're not broken. They were made in like 10 minutes later, the plane went back, and they're like, what?
You mentioned that.
It's insane. Yeah. It's so, you know, there's definitely something going on. And of course, you know, they're going to spin it as the aliens came down with their flying saucer and advanced tech and they're, you know, blah, blah, blah. Right. And that's, of course, a silly notion, but it's a cartoon sketch of something that's kind of real. It is kind of aliens, but they're not coming in a ship. They don't even have a physical form. It's way beyond that. It's communication through vibrations and whatever. So like it is alien, freaky, super tech. It's kind of a cartoon, childish way to explain something that is happening, right? So sometimes people use the same language. Like I've heard people say, simulation is bullshit, blah, 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 blah. They go on, go on. And then in the next sentence, they explain their worldview. And it sounds exactly like simulation in my, and I'm like, I guess we're just using different language because whatever. And it's fine. You know, I mean, as you said, you don't have to believe in simulation, right? At some point, though, you might just have to say, well, it's the thing that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, let me ask you a question. Go off topic real quick. You mentioned Matt of Quantum of Consciousness. So I don't know. I've heard that he and I have some crossover, and it's maybe it's the only crossover is that we both believe this is a constructed simulated. I don't know. What do you think about the guy? I mean, has he earned like a positive shout out here? I mean, could we send some traffic his way? I don't know anything about him. My life is absolutely too packed with creating content for me to go watch anybody else's.
Well, I'll tell you, I've watched I've watched hundreds of his videos. I've watched maybe 1,000 videos. Yeah, because he had an older channel, and then he took down lots of videos from the past, right? So what's there is a certain amount, and he makes almost every day. I mean, every couple of days. He's very prolific. I have a very strong positive recommendation for Matt from Quantum of Conscious.
Okay, that means a lot.
Absolutely. He and you are two people I watch all videos. I don't pick and choose. I watch all because they're always good.
That says a lot.
No, he's a deep thinker, and he has evolved also. Like this thing is, he's in a process of learning, right? Like years ago, he had great ideas, but he has even better ideas now because he's evolved in his thinking. Right? Yeah, he's a real guy, and he's done some great Mandela work also. He's got a couple of videos. One is like my big fat Greek Mandela video that's like a couple hours long. Then he's made over the years he's made like 2 or 3 longer form ones that are really good. And he's a real deep thinker. He's very on his own. You know, he never does podcasts or never does interviews. He does his own thing, and he takes care of cats. So hey, you know, he's got my vote. But no, he really is. He's one of the. Yeah, I don't agree with him on everything, right?
Yeah, you don't agree with me on everything. That doesn't make you.
I don't agree with me on everything. I mean, I don't agree with myself on everything. Yeah. I swear to God, right? I'll say something and I'll be like, that's kind of how I feel, but I also see the other side. I mean, you know, really, you know, I can have some strong convictions on some things, but ultimately, you know, sometimes what do we know? I'm not going to tell you this is the way it is, especially on speculative things like the nature of the realm and the construct. I mean, how can you really analyze a simulation within the simulation itself.
Right.
It's like the tongue trying to taste the tongue, and you're trying to touch the end of your finger, but you go slow, you go fast. You're never doing it right because you're in there. You're too close to it, so you don't have no other reference to. But within this construct, some things make it very obvious that something is up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like your mirror and thousands of other things.
Dolly.
Yeah, man.
I agree.
Wow. So we're okay. Yeah, geography. All right. Basically, quickly on the geography. Since South America moved, that means the Panama Canal is now flowing differently. The Panama Canal used to flow east to west, right? Now it flows. It's not exactly north-south, but it's a little bit off. But it's not like this. And there are people, military guys, that served in the Navy for years in the Panama Canal, and you ask them, oh, what direction does the water flow? It's just an Army guy or Navy guy. He probably doesn't know. Dude, he works in the Navy. He's there for years. I think he would know how the thing flows. I think this is a pretty good source. The guy said east to west, of course. Say, well, now check online, buddy. Never was east to west. Yeah. Here's staying retired, says John Lamb Lash. Archaix is a favorite among some Gnostic students. Yes, he is definitely his own kind of brand of Gnosticism, which I think is a lot more pure and viable. Anyway, we won't get too much into that. That's another thing. Okay, Panama Canal. The other thing is Cuba.
Yeah.
What the hey?
Definitely.
Cuba's bigger and it's moved.
Yeah.
Australia. Are you joking?
Really?
Does Australia look right up against Papua New Guinea? Does that look right to you? I mean, I've met Australian people who are like, no, it's always been there. And I've met Australian people who are like, 100% it moved. I know it wasn't there, right? So for me, Australia definitely moved. Italy has gone.
Messina Straits across from Sicily and Italy. Yeah,
dude, I lived in Italy. It didn't. It was different when I lived there. It was different. It's gone on a little counterclockwise thing. It is just bizarre. Another place, Vancouver Island, on the west coast of Canada, next to British Columbia. I was there in 1990, 91. I know what it looked like. I was looking at maps every day. We traveled all around it. I look at it now. I'm like, what? It's like just smushed up against the coast. It's like pushed up, and it's weird. Didn't look like that. Japan. Some people who grew up in Japan say it's different. Hard to say. Go take a look for yourself.
New Zealand also.
New Zealand, yeah. Because Australia has moved, then where New Zealand is in relation to Australia doesn't make sense anymore. New Zealand's way the heck down there. It's really bizarre.
Well, when I was in school, I thought it was way down here.
Oh, someone says another one is from Scary Movie where the black guy says, I see white people. It's from The Sixth Sense, right? I see dead people. And this was a parody on that. And he says, I see white people. But now he says the exact line from The Sixth Sense. He says, I see dead people. And it's just not funny. That one is really obvious. Age. You notice how many of the Mandela effects were referring to like old things, right? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Laurel and Hardy, I Love Lucy. Young people won't know those things, right? So you're like, all the Mandela effects, they're all for the older people. No, there are a bunch of ones for the younger people, like Pokemon, for instance. Pokemon, Pikachu's tail. This one is really obvious.
Oh, now, look, man, don't go to talking about those Pokemons. Them kids get irate.
Pikachu,
man.
Dude, they freak out because, Pokemon, dude, I never played it, but kids that play it, they spend hours and hundreds of hours in deep. They know to a T the entire thing. They know exactly what's going on. So they know that Pikachu had that little black thing at the end of the tail. They know it. You can't tell them otherwise. There's another one that's more obscure. Okay, there's this character called, oh God, what's the name of it? See, I never played Pokemon. I no interest in that at all. But I'm talking to the experts, which are younger people, right? I mean, younger than me.
Yeah.
Right. And they tell me 100, and they get freaked out too. They're like, there's no way, you know? And there's a character that shows up in Gen 3, but now it shows up in Gen 2. Now that means nothing to you and it means nothing to me, but to Pokemon people, it's like the end. It's the
Bro,
it's
what about Tom Cruise and Risky Business? That's a biggie.
Yeah,
that's a huge one. I mean,
crazy,
okay,
man.
so he's wearing the white shirt with the sunglasses and the underwear. Now the shirt is this pink weird thing and no sunglasses. No sunglasses? No way. It's like Richard Simmons with no headband.
Too weird.
You know Richard Simmons, the guy that, hey, look at that. He now has no headband.
Come on, man.
Yes,
What?
man. The headband is so iconic. Now the guy disappeared for 4 years. No one's seen him. Maybe because he's so freaked out that he lost his headband. He's like, I don't know what's
I always had a headband.
He doesn't have a headband.
That's
He never
terrible.
had a headband. Never. Richard Simmons never had a headband. But come on, guys. Obviously he did. I mean, it's you guys. You know, right? He did, right? It's
Wow. That's just
Totally
crazy.
trippy, that
I mean,
way.
oh, and along with the headband, you know, the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio, his headband has changed.
What?
It changed from something.
You
to
had the
something.
crescent sun on there.
Yeah. Go look at it now. It's like, what the? It's different. Risky Business. Yeah. Back to the Future. The guitar changed. The guitar that he plays, and then
It's a red guitar, like a 1950s Rickenbacker thing.
It's a weird thing. I'm telling you, that guitar is definitely different. I mean, I know. And there's another scene. I don't know where it was, but there's a mirror image of something, and the mirror image is now inverted. It's like upside down instead of it's a very subtle one, but people who check these movies incessantly, they find these things and they know that it wasn't like that. And so, you know, when you're thinking about the deeper meanings to these things, you know, you're talking about inversion, you're talking about, you know, the Adam's apple. What's the meaning of that? Well, you could say, you know, the Garden of Eden, Adam's apple, etc. You could say the thing that's going on where people, they get little operations on their Adam's apple. Some people shave it down when they want to transition from something to something, right? So maybe they're pointing various things.
Oh, I see what you're saying. By getting rid of Shaggy's voice box.
Yeah.
The
emasculation of the male, right? You know, there's a whole bunch of themes going on. And I'm telling you, like, you know, I'm not getting into it so deep here into the decoding. Otherwise, it'd be a 5-hour video. But yeah. Okay. The Dark Knight Rises. Oh my God, this is a weird one. You know Bane? You know?
Yeah, of course. Got the fucking mask.
I was born in darkness. Yeah. So this guy, he's knitting throughout the movie. He's there with he's knitting a little, I don't know what he's knitting, a scarf or something, like several times throughout the movie. He's knitting. Oh, my name is Bane.
He's a super criminal.
Well, I'm going to knit my little thing. I was born in darkness. Oh, what? Yeah, it's really insane. That's really weird, isn't it?
Knits.
Knitting. Yeah, it's really weird. Nothing wrong with it. Knitting is not gay. Knitting is cool. Any you people want to knit me a hat or no? I don't wear hats, but knitting is great.
You need him in Maldives.
You know, I guess Bane, with all that macho stuff, he needed a little bit of alternate activity to, you know, realize his creative side. So
get all that energy and angst out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna stitch this. Yeah, and then I'm gonna break his face.
One pill.
I don't know what's going on with this shit. Like, it's really crazy. Okay, the A-Team van is black, red, and silver now. Wow. You know, why not? Yeah, why not? And Mr. T, what's the most?
What are you talking about?
Yes, thank you.
I pity the fool.
Guess what? He never said, I pity the fool. Never. He only said it. Yes, he only said it in Rocky 4. In Rocky 4, Mr. T is in Rocky 4, and there he says, I pity the fool. So people will say, oh, you just remember it from the Rocky movie. That's what you're quoting it from the Rocky movie. And you're like, yeah, maybe I was. I guess all those hundreds of episodes I watched, I just heard it wrong. You know, he never said, according to this reality, he never said, I pity the fool. He never said, pity the fool. Never said it.
Shit.
That was his thing, man. That was about the only dialogue that
exactly.
He was an ass kicker. That's it. He kicked ass. He didn't even talk.
What you talking about?
So now they've taken the only thing that he actually said away. I mean, like, poor guy, man. What did he actually say? It's really weird. You know the animated film Ratatouille? Ratatouille, there's a character. Yeah. Alfredo Fettuccini now has a tiny little goatee, and he never had one. Babe the pig has this little tuft of hair at the top of the head that's not the same color as the rest of the skin. And people will swear up and down it was never there. There's a book by Oscar Wilde, the Irish author, right? I've been in a couple of his plays. The Importance of Being Earnest. I was Algernon Moncrief in that play and whatever. Okay, so good writer, right? You know, got gay as hell, Irish. Anyway, he wrote a book called The Portrait of Dorian Gray.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but now it's called The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Wow.
Well, no, but the new movie was a picture of Dorian Gray, wasn't it?
The movie and the book have always been picture in this reality.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I know the book was portrait. Just like Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. I mean, the word portrait is something you remember. I used to read books, you know, like, I think I remember. I'm not too retarded. It was portrait. Amazing. And so that's amazing. Let's get into the music ones. The music ones, they really kill people sometimes. Of course, Queen, we are the champions. They just, of the world. They don't say of the world anymore. No. Only in the live version in Live Aid, he says of the world in front of that big thing for the Live Aid for that fake charity nonsense where they did the ritual. Yeah, so Queen, we are they did a good performance there. And there they did of the world. But the original recording doesn't have of the world. Jewel. Yeah, I don't even care who this is. But anyway, there's a woman called Jewel who has a song called Who Will Save Your Soul, right? Who will save your soul? Now it's the name of the song is Who Will Save Your Soul. But in the song, in the original, she says it with an S. Who will save your souls? Okay. Damn. Subtle change, but kind of an important one, I think. It's a different meaning. Okay. I see a red door and I want to paint it black, right? Paint it black. But now the song is called Paint It Black. But the words are now, I see a red door and I want it painted black.
And I want it painted black. No. Doesn't feel natural.
No, it doesn't. And I used to sing that song. I've written that song by hand, chords. I know it used to say paint, but now I guess I'm just deluded. Okay. Oh, the Bee Gees. This one's up.
Don't. Oh, this is going to be criminal.
How deep is your love?
Oh my God, no.
How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to know, 'cause we're living. Okay, right. So, and it's you. So the line before is, and it's you I need to show. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to know and show. But now it's always been, I really mean to learn.
Get the fuck out of here, Shiva.
Okay, I'll get the fuck out. See you later, guys.
No way.
I mean to learn. I really want to know. I really need to know.
No.
Okay.
You just fucked up the matrix.
But brother, you see the message is, I'm going to ask you, Martin, do you really need to know? Do you mean to learn? How deep is your love? So anyway, these are messages being given right in your face. And I feel sorry for the people who deny it because they're missing out on all the fun. We're having fun.
I don't feel sorry for them. They're the same people that still believe ABC, NBC, CBS, and BBC are still telling them an accurate view of world events. The same people believe that.
What about the DEA?
Oh, yeah. That's one of my favorites, really, because are you shitting me? It's like a bunch of stoners are like, well, I guess I was too stoned. I always thought it was the Drug Enforcement Agency, you know, like my brother got screwed by the agency, but now they're not. Now they're the Drug Enforcement Administration, you know. So I guess I was too stoned. I remember, you know, what the heck? Are you shitting me, dude? I mean, Martin, you're not from the U.S., but you know it's the DEA. You know it's the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Of course I do. I watch films. I watched Breaking Bad. The guy on there was in the DEA, and I'm sure he said agency.
I bet now it's probably gone to administration.
Probably.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, that one. That one's crazy, man. That's that's really, you know, I don't even know what kind of a category to put that in. That's kind of like it's like the HIPAA Act. You know, the HIPAA Act used to be the health privacy one. Right before this PSYOP in 2020 came, HIPAA changed from HIPPA to HIPAA. It was the Health Privacy Act. But now, you know, when that PSYOP came, suddenly you didn't have any privacy, you know? You got to take this thing, you got to earn, or you can't go there and blah. So suddenly your privacy was just like dirt. And before, there were acts designed to, supposedly in this fake world, to protect your privacy. But now Mandela affected the name of the thing, and now it's always been HIPAA. But there's tons of people working in offices in the government still calling it HIPAA with PP. It's unbelievable. It's
crazy.
Yeah. So some of these organizations changed. Johns Hopkins.
Oh, you heard this one. That's mad.
I remember John Hopkins. Maybe I'm wrong. I remember John Hopkins. I don't. And now it's always been Johns Hopkins. And I've had people swear up and down, oh, it's always been Johns because of the following reasons and blah, blah. The Center for Disease Control, the CDC. Have you what, is that what you remember? Center for Disease Control, right? Now it's called Centers for Disease Control. And it's, and of course, and Smithsonian Institute. So these are all like organizations that are involved in dodgy things that have had their names changed. These are not random changes. These are things that are pointing to the deception, the medical deception, which I won't mention too much because we're on YouTube, but you know what I mean. So yeah. So Richard Simmons, no headband, Karate Kid guy too. Britney Spears doesn't have the microphone headset in Hit Me Baby One More Time.
What?
Yeah, Britney Spears is smoke tranny.
That's the whole point. You got too much free time over there in the island, man.
I've got big tits. My baby, look at me. So she's got this.
Baby, one more time. She's got the microphone. You, bro.
Yeah, but now she never had the microphone. Go look in the video. But there's tons of residue of people dressing up for Halloween, and they have a little costume, and they're dressing up exactly like her. And they got the skin tight red stupid thing. I think it's a man, but anyway. And then a little bit of I said it quietly because YouTube, right? But the microphone. I mean, the microphone is an ubiquitous part of that video.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that song. I'm not a fan of his music or whatever you want to think that is.
Not good taste if you think about it. No.
Yeah, man. So pretty weird. Hit Me Baby One More Time. Yeah, that is a big one. Sally Fields, Field of Dreams. So everything's Sally Fields, Field of Dreams. It's a dream state. I mean, okay, Richard Simmons and Tom Cruise. Gallagher never had suspenders. Smokey the Bear lost his suspenders. So Smokey the Bear is now Smokey Bear. And he also lost his suspenders. And so did Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse used to have suspenders. Now they're gone. Smokey the Bear, Mickey Mouse, and Gallagher all lost their suspenders.
Okay, so if that's the case, you just isolated a really intriguing particular. If that's the case, could the construct be trying to keep older imagery, older personalities in the dress attire that would be more modern for more modern perception? So when people look, you understand?
Yeah.
So
maybe
you wouldn't really listen to modern people, especially
You're muted.
YouTube.
Oh, you're back.
Okay, so somebody in 2023, some 22-year-old kid in 2023 living in the city all their life is not going to take anybody seriously who's dressed like they're from 1892. So
that's
I'm wondering. That's an interesting thing you just said, that they're all losing their suspenders.
Yeah, strange. Why
suspenders are something that is not being worn nor sold. Very hard to find now.
Yeah, exactly right. And maybe it has a philosophical meaning of like keeping your pants up. You know, you're basically, people are getting their pants pulled down with the revelation of this awakening that's happening, all this stuff. The construct is like your pants can't stay up. You're exposing your nakedness. I'm getting a little poetic here, but I'm just saying, throwing it out there. Usually these things have multi-layered meanings. It's not usually just one.
They're called braces in Britain. They're called braces.
Like Dolly's braces. Dolly lost her braces. They lost the suspenders.
Squirrel come up with that just now in chat.
Squirrel sniper.
Exactly.
Yeah. Man, squirrel sniper like Shiva. Everywhere.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, he's a fixture. He's a dude, and he's very well aware of his Mandela effect.
Oh, yeah, Nathan's way.
Yeah, there's a lot of L to Y changes. You know, Linda Carter, who was Wonder Woman. Yeah, Linda. Now she's Lynda. No, she.
Oh wow!
Megan Kelly.
Who's the ones catching all these Mandelas? Because I agree with that one too. But
me, I clone myself 50 times, and I have 49 guys on this 24 hours a day. And then
I need to hire you, man. I need help.
She was on.
Yeah, man.
Talk to my clones. No, my clones, they're doing the legwork. And then they just download it into my brain. So so Megan Kelly is now Megan Kelly.
Wow.
Megan, MEGAN is now MAYGAN. I mean, it looks wrong. If you look at it, you're like, what? I don't even care who this woman is. It just, the name changed. Little Tykes, TYKES, is now TIKES. So that went the other way. Winona Ryder is now Winona Ryder. What do you know her name is?
Yeah. Her last name is always spelled RYDER, right?
Yeah.
Whoa. Have I been Mandela'd?
We're seriously affected right now, Jason.
I've been. Oh man, they got me.
Okay, look on her name online. Okay, Winona Ryder. Her name is R-Y. Yeah, but the Winona is now W-I, but it used to be W-Y.
Why? It was a fucking Y. But somebody's saying the rider's got a Y in it, it's, you know, as well. So
the rider has a Y in it.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was right about that.
Did the rider always have a Y? I think the rider always had a Y.
But with an I, it looks completely wrong, Shiva. Einhorst just put in the chat, Winona Ryder. It looks completely wrong with an I. It was a Y.
I know. It does. Now that one, John Lam Lash goes into that one quite deep, and ties it into the Nag Hammadi and to various phenomic usage, right? Like the ping from Y to I is connected to some pretty serious stuff, you know, in the Greek Gnostic tradition and stuff like this. This all sounds a little bit complex, and I'm not going to get into it now because it's deep. It's for another time, maybe, or an Archaix TV or whatever, because it's really just something else. Maybe nobody needs another Mandela thing, but if you wanted a different approach to it, like the decoding of it, rather than just naming 70 effects and talking about what it is, right? There's another whole avenue of stuff, and people are decoding it in different ways too. Some people take a more biblical approach, right? Some people, it's fascinating.
So where can people go to get? Because see, I'm not gonna devote a lot of time to Mandela effect. To me, it's a given, and you know, and I accept it as part of my paradigm. So but if there are people in my chat, people listening to this video in the future days, weeks, and months, if they're where can they go to get deeper interpretations of Mandela effect?
Okay, because you know, if I name some people, I don't want to name some people and then not name others, and I don't want to sit here.
It has to be jokes to reality, brother.
Yeah, exactly. You know, basically, if I think a really good one, if you're talking about a deeper discussion of it, and he has roundtables and he's really done the work, it's Brian Stavely at Dose of Reality, and you know he has.
All right, give him a shout out.
He's got so So, Brian, in case you're wondering why there's an influx of people coming to your channels now, you know. But the thing is, he's a good guy. He's done a lot of work, not just Mandela stuff, some serious stuff. His take on the 9/11 is quite fascinating and quite accurate. And he's done like some really 3, 4, 5 hour presentations on that, which are very convincing. But I'm telling you, most people are not going to be on board with that because they're really too addicted to certain things. But anyway, but yeah, he's very good on Mandela. He has some great interviews, some roundtables. Some of the talks go on for 3, 4, 5 hours. They're long ones. And they get into the speculation, not just, you know, naming the effects, but the speculate, like what we're doing now, like what's causing the effect, what's going on, you know, because some people think it's CERN, some people think CIA, some people think Satan's trying to screw with your mind, some people think it's God. Some people think it's some humans that are.
I think it's AIX.
Some people think it's CERN.
Yep, CERN. And I do not think it's CERN. I do not think it's going back in time. Like if you could go back in time and just kill Ed McMahon or something, right? Or just tell Ed McMahon, Ed McMahon, convince him not to work for Publishers Clearinghouse, right? What would happen is that then you come back to this present time, he would never have worked for Publishers Clearinghouse, which also means no one would remember him ever having worked there. And there wouldn't be residue all over the place of him delivering giant checks and television shows parroting it. And people, and hundreds of millions of people going, I know he delivered the giant checks with the yellow balloons and blah. Now it's like, no, he never did that. Now, so if you could go back in time and change that, there would be no residue. So there isn't, in my opinion, I could be wrong, I don't think there's different timelines. I think there's one timeline. But I don't even think time exists really. But for now, we have to look at it as if it does exist, because you can figure it out. This non-existent thing has things to it, and it has a cause and effect, and it's a different memory. You're saying, well, you remember it wrong. What is wrong? I mean, I remember the way it used to be, and I believe that other people also remember it. Even the people who deny the Mandela effect, they know Dolly had braces. If they've never seen that movie, they know Mirror Mirror. If they've never seen Snow White, there's something that everybody is Mandela affected, in my opinion. Perhaps, though, there are some people that are so, I don't know. I don't speak for everybody. I don't know. There's a variety of people, right? There could be people, or maybe not even people, and we're getting into speculation here, that are simply not designed. As I said before, they're not designed to see it no matter what you show them. Right?
I agree.
And then there's a lot of people who are resistant. And if you could show them the right one, they'd be like, no. And they would get it, right? You know, they're like, oh, yeah, this. And then it comes to something that they know 100%. They're just like, you know, like
make excuses and defend it somehow.
Shiva, I believe that there are many, many here who are absolutely disconnected from source. And that disconnection cuts off imagination, cuts off empathy, and cuts off all the other spiritual qualities, man. And one of them is intuition. So, yeah, man, that disconnection from source is the reason why people don't really see what's really happening around them. And I think it's for a reason, man. And they're not. It's time. Yeah. There's an Exodus event coming, and they're not ready. So, I don't believe source ever forces learning at all. So
absolutely, always gives you a choice. It's up to you. If you want to move forward with it, you move forward. If you're not comfortable, no problem. And in fact, you're not a bad person for doing it, or a retard or anything like that. I mean, you can be a bit rude. Sometimes those people can be rude when they attack other people's ideas, but I'm not attacking their idea. I mean, I think they're incorrect on this, but that's just, you know, judgment on my part. Forgive my judgment. But I really do think they're not ready for it. And so the very fact that they're not ready for it, then they can't advance. That's actually very humane. You wouldn't graduate someone who couldn't do it.
So true.
It wouldn't be fair to them. It wouldn't be fair to other people. It wouldn't be fair to them. It wouldn't be fair to the whole plan of things. So they're going to have to try again. And at some point, they're going to get there. It's possible that every single soul eventually gets there. Some may have to go through many cycles to do it. And there's no shame in that. Like, if you're immortal, you've got time, right?
Yeah.
So,
if you experience deja vu, all that is a reminder you've already been here before. You've already run through this cycle at least once.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Deja vu is interesting. I remember hearing the medical explanation for deja vu, right?
Wow.
How you have this like memory here, and then you like what memory part, and then you have this is taking in the information, and then this is putting it in the memory, and then you access the memory. So what's happening is that it's kind of bypassing the thing. It's going into the memory part first, and then it's going to the perception, and then you look in your memory and go, oh no, I've already been through this before. So this is the scientific explanation. But like most scientific explanations, it's just doesn't really say much, really.
I'm not really, when it comes to science and the medical profession, you know what? I can't help but now see them as all disciples of Apollo, and I just can't deal with it no more. I can't process it anymore. I just, you know what? Stay with it. There are some exceptions to the rule. They're trying to make the world a better place. They're trying to help people. They're trying to fulfill the Hippocratic Oath, but the Hippocratic Oath from itself is sinister as fuck. So
well, the Hippocratic Oath has become the hypocritical oath, hasn't it? It's just basically. I always thought Hippocratic sounded like hypocrite somehow, and I think the fact that it sounds like that is a bit of a clue, right? I think there's all these clues all over the place if you're willing to look for it, right? I mean, hey, you look in the rearview mirror of the car, right? What does it say? It says objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear.
Yeah.
But now it says objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
Oh, right.
And it's always said that, according to reality.
Right, well, I'm going to have to check Shell's car because it says that on the mirror.
She got an old car too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can check that out quick.
Yeah. Okay, tiger ears. You know tigers?
Yeah.
Check out their ears. Go online and check out the ears. Take a look. Martin or Jason, whoever can do it.
You said tiger ears?
Yeah, the ears of a tiger. Just look under Google for tiger and then look at images. Look at their ears. Do you remember that?
Okay. Oh shit!
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Back by here.
They got these little white. They got these white dots. Like what the heck is that?
And the white dots. What's with the fucking white dots? They look like a face from the back.
The white dot, though, it was never there.
Look, his ears were laid all the way back, almost like a dog.
What the fuck? Look at that in the back.
They're felines. Their ears aren't supposed to be like that.
Yeah, and the white dot was never there, my friend. Never there.
Well, that is
crazy. That is a good one. It's a good one. You caught me flat-footed on that one.
Yeah.
Sharks. There are people who have studied sharks, right? Like they studied it many years ago, and they studied everything about sharks. They went to university, and now sharks are different than they were. You know, I don't know what the changes are, but there are shark experts that are like 100%. I will swear to you, the shark used to be like this, and now it's like this. There's a couple changes. It's weird.
I'm not saying this is a Mandela effect, but have you ever seen or brought up an image of infant skulls? And seen that? Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, it'll freak your fucking head off if you see it.
I've seen shrunken heads before.
No, it shows two separate amounts of teeth. It literally looks like like something from the horror film, like that. Look at this.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, man.
So like two different sets of teeth. Apparently we're born with them. But I've looked at old skulls from Antiquity and I haven't witnessed the same thing going on.
Wow, man.
But that is really weird, that one. Well, first time I saw that, I thought, oh, Canon, see that, Matt. Oh, God.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That was some weird stuff. People were getting up to some weird stuff. But then again, if it's a Mandela, maybe the people weren't getting up to that and it's just in the reality.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Okay, human body. Okay, the thinker statue we've been through, the Sistine Chapel. You know where God is.
Yeah, with Adam. Yeah.
Dude. God and Adam. God's hand used to be above. God's above, and Adam is below. And they're about to touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now they're on the same level. In fact, it looks like Adam's hand is even a little bit higher. And Adam puts out his hand like, he's got this little limp wrist. I'm telling you, it wasn't. I've been to the Sistine Chapel. I've been there. I've been in there. I looked in the ceiling. Now he's got this like gay little twin, and he's like, "Hey God, you can touch me if you want." And God's like, "Okay." And what? No, God was above, man was below. Right now it's like God and man are the same. If maybe
Right.
higher, it's weird, dude. It's weird. And this is this not on the internet. I guess the CIA went in there and repainted it when nobody was looking.
Did the CIA change cats' pupils?
I meant the CIA God is lower than CIA. God brings coffee to the CIA. That's how powerful they are. They're like they do everything. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Cat's eyes split like. Well, they used to be this way, did they? Cat's eyes.
I don't know, man. Somebody said that in the deal. I don't know, man. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. Appreciate it.
Hey, Cat. I think cat's eyes. They look like when the light is dim, they get big. When the light is really bright, then they get into that tiny little thing.
Yeah, like I get you. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
There. King Tut.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What?
Do you remember what King Tut?
I know what you're going to say. You're going to say the serpents on his head.
Howard Carter in 1922 excavated that royal tomb with King Tut and all his treasures and stuff.
Yep.
So now he's got two, yeah?
Now he's got two. Before King Tut on the headdress has the snake. Now it has a snake and a bird.
Oh yeah,
that's a bird.
Yeah, that's all. That's definitely not original. Yeah.
Okay.
It's insane. Well, according to this reality, we are wrong, and it always had that. But I had a National Geographic subscription my grandfather got for me one, and I had the National Geographic thing with King Tut on the front when the King Tut exhibition was on it was like 1980 something, or dude. Anyway, whatever. That one is really because that's a solid object. That's not an internet thing.
Yeah, it's made of gold, and the cobra's like sort of off center, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just wacky. The two things is just weird, and there's tons of residue. Steve Martin is dressed up like King Tut with the one thing, but then there's another one where Steve Martin has two. So whoa, it's getting confusing. Even the residue gets confusing. But there's tons of people imitating King Tut with just a snake. I mean, that's the way it was. Edvard Munch, the painting from 1893 called The Scream. He made 5 versions of this painting, but the most well-known version, the guy, he's like, oh, screaming. He's now wearing a little gold bracelet on his wrist.
What?
It was never there, but it's only in that version.
About Krakatoa, isn't it? And there's supposed to be a river of lava behind it.
About Krakatoa. Yeah. What was Munch? Munch is a Norwegian guy, right? Edvard Munch is a Norwegian painter. And yeah, he made 5 of these. The thing is, all 4 of them, they don't have the gold bracelet, but the most well-known one, the one that's the really famous one, now has gold bracelet around the wrist. And I know he didn't have, but I guess
we overlooked some things, maybe, but can't remember that.
Well, check this out, Shiva. We've already been going 2 hours and 50 minutes. I want to close this out before 3 hours. We topped out at over 2,000 people watching, but this will have over 20,000 views in 24 hours, dude. You're gonna get a lot of people seeing this video, and there's a takeaway from all this I want to discuss real quick before we go, and that is that it's you say according to this reality multiple times. You said that. I want to draw attention to because the very fact that we can make an objective assertion that the reality that we're referring to now, according to this reality, is substantially different from a reality that we remember, and yet we're still here existing in between, or we have exited one paradigm into another. This bears in mind, this actually should draw attention to the fact that, like I say all the time, we are more than we suppose ourselves to be. And if the world itself can change and yet we're unmoved, we can notice these changes, then I just want some of our listeners to realize there's a lot of things right here in Archaix that I'm promoting, such as the fact that we draw from ourselves more than we contain, and that we actually modify reality by our thoughts and actions. And if something can so easily change tens of thousands of little minor things to draw our attention to, then that means reality is malleable. And if reality is malleable and that we've existed in multiple realities where these changes didn't exist and then they did, and yet we're still here to talk about it, this necessarily implies to me that I'm able to change reality as well. So I just wanted to, these are things going through my mind as I'm listening to all these, because these are lessons. These aren't isolated incidents. There is something basically screaming at us, souls trapped in this construct, to wake up, pay attention, look around. Things aren't as bad as you think. You can do something about this.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's exactly what I thought. I mean, people are trying to get you in the prison of materialism, right? They're saying, hey, look, I know you're a dreamer. I know you have these ideas, but I'm just here to tell you the reality. You know, you're gonna work, you're gonna like hate your boss, you're gonna have a bitch wife, and then you're gonna die. There's nothing you can do beyond this. You get all your woo-woo. No. It's a base reality, and there's no escape from it, and then blah, 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 right? And you're like, oh, he's destroying my dreams. And the thing is, though, you're like,
he's destroying my dreams.
You know that's bullshit, right? You know this bullshit, but now you know it's bullshit because, you know, and those people, some of them might, you know, become aware of that and might have a joyous life, or they just might not, you know, they're just going to do their thing. There's nothing you can do, but they cannot fool you anymore, you know, into thinking you're powerless and that you can't create this reality because we're changing the reality all the time. I think Mandela effects have been around since the beginning of the construct. It's something that's just an intrinsic part of the construct. It's manifesting, it's retrocausality, it's placebo effect, nocebo effect, it's manifesting, it's desiring something is working, it's making things happen. It's happening all the time. It's basically different words for the same kind of thing, right? Because we need different words to explain certain flavors of the same thing, which is we're creating a reality. It's a reflective medium. And, you know, because people are like, oh, I wonder if we all get together, we could make Mandela effects happen. I'm thinking we probably are already doing that, right?
We were already told we could. Remember, we read it earlier, where 2 or 3 are gathered together.
But if you got 4, God's not going to stick me on. He's like, hey, dude, I'm proud of you. I'm proud. I need to go back to my raven and, you know, get the dove to bring me some leaf.
Yeah, man. It's Lamageddon, Shiva. Lamageddon.
It's crazy. I actually have tons more, but you know, I've got some more. I don't have tons more, but you know, you basically know them. I won't get into it in this one because we're 3 hours, but basically the word Mandela. Can I mention this a little bit? I'll just mention one thing.
Sure.
I won't explain it. I'll just say it. Many people, myself included, can't stand the name Mandela effect. That's how I used to feel. I have now changed my mind because I know a lot. It's quite deep. But the thing is, people are like, oh, Nelson Mandela, I don't like that guy because he's used in certain agendas by tiny hats to go and drive the wedge between the bloody, bloody, blah, right? It's all nonsense. And it's like, did he die in the late 80s or 1991? And then he died later in 2013. Is that what happened? Who knows? That's what I remember. I remember him dying. But I'm not even going to say that he died 100%. Other people said they saw him on TV, died at the funeral.
Right.
So, but I'm pretty sure he died. That's what I remember. But I'm not going to say 100% on that because that actually could be a psyop. It could be a psyop to poison what the Mandela effect is, making the thing that is named after blackwashing. The thing is, some people say the Mandela effect is a name chosen by Fiona Broom and the CIA and all these wankers and all these people to screw your mind so that you'll be going to Mandela. So people will be naturally repelled away from it because I don't want anything to do with this divisive figure, this communist guy, right?
You hit the nail on the head. Shiva, it's an attempt to capture the narrative, just like the Bill Gates Foundation is messing with the weather because they know the vapor canopy is coming and they want to lay claim to it. Yeah, man, it's exactly 100%.
Climate change, right? Oh, it's insane. So the thing is, people hate the Mandela effect, the word Mandela. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who started the actual thing. This is the same intelligence that's sending us the Mandela effects, the same, whatever you want to say, who controls this construct, right, is sending these messages to us.
the word Mandela effect is not a mistake. For instance, you know the Sumerian little things, the MEs that they're using?
You're talking about you're talking about mandalas now. That's
Yeah,
exactly
okay, well, a mandala
yeah.
sounds like Mandela. I'm talking about the Sumerian things that these guys carried around, these little
the MEs, yeah.
The MEs. Just to say, it's another little data point. I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying collecting. There's tons of. You're like, that's a little suspicious. So is this a mandala? A mandala is a geometric configuration of symbols in various spiritual traditions. Mandalas are employed for focusing attention of practitioners at desk, spiritual guidance tool, establishing a sacred space, all that meditation, making things happen. It's in Hinduism, it's in Buddhism.
Focusing, for capturing your attention.
Yeah. So that's a mandala. Now, but the word Mandela, if you look in other languages, get on Google Translate and take the A off, because in etymology, you don't need the A. You just take the root word Mandel. Mandel in Danish and a couple of other, I think in Swedish, has a meaning. But in German, those Germans, the word Mandel has 7 meanings. 7. And they are adenoids or tonsils, amygdala, a group of sheaves standing on end in fields, standing wheat, almond, geode, a set of 15 items, and a large mandala is a set of 16 items. And the last one is the only verb, to shock. Now, these all seem random, but if you have another few hours, I'd need about 4 or something, I could explain how each one of those is incredibly significant.
Yeah.
Historically, and it's very deep. And so this is not a mistake, and it's not a CIA plot. And even if the CIA did it, whoever did it,
they're genius.
The divine is using many minions or anything it can. It's using the internet. It's hacked into the reality, and it is changing it. And it's evil. The naming of the Mandela effect is not a mistake, and it's not a horrible thing. And I know some people are going to virulently disagree with me because they hate the name Mandela effect, and so did I. But now that I've done more research on it, I see that everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And this is
no doubt. Okay. No doubt, man. No doubt.
So,
but we're going to you want to announce anything?
Yeah, we got SoCal coming up the end of the month, guys, in San Diego, California. That's going to be
Shiva, I wish we could get you there. You're far away. We got like 20 tickets left. We got 20 tickets left. We got Max Egan, Autodidactic, Logan of Decoding Reality, Danny of the Unfuckers, Toltec Shaman.
Yeah.
We got this crazy pastor. I'll be there.
It's going to be
all our retinues will be there. It's going to be a blast.
Is Campbell going to make it to that one, or he's
Campbell's going to be here. Campbell's going to be here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's what I heard.
Links in the chat for anybody who wants to take it.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. It's
too bad it's not 2 days, man. This is like a mela. This is like a festival.
We're gonna be there 4 days. The event's only 1 day, but we're gonna film it. The whole thing's gonna be live. We're gonna film it.
Great. So I won't miss out.
But you're more. Hey, we'll be doing this again. We'll pick a different topic. Listen, man.
That was fantastic, Shiva.
I'm gonna put your links in the description box, but you guys, Shiva has his own channel, and he's an artist. He's a musician. You go check him out. His links, as soon as this video closes, I have his links in the description box, and we'll have you back on because, this Mandela effect is only one topic that you obviously mastered. We're going to pick your brain for some more stuff in the future.
This is the funny thing, because I'm getting, how actors get typecast. Marianne was typecast in Gilligan's Island, and she could never get a good role after that because they're like, you're the nice girl. You can't play the femme fatale, right? And Gilligan's Island has some Mandela effects too. But anyway, they're everywhere. Anyway, sorry. It's just going. Oh yeah, so typecast. So people, you may think, I guess Shiva's thing. He's just totally into Mandela. Actually, it's actually kind of I'm pretty good at it, but it's just a minor thing I'm into. Like it's just one of many things, but it's just really fascinating. I find it quite profound, and And it's funny that it's so profound because it's dealing in the most frivolous stuff, like product labels, Febreze. We didn't even get into that. I've got like 40 product labels that have changed.
Yeah.
You know, Depends. You know,
I believe it. I believe it. Well,
used to be,
we're going to have to get into those later. We're going to have to get into those later. There's way too many. There's 6,000 Mandela effects. But we got the other announcement is that when we come back from California back to Texas, we have another meetup again right here in Houston.
Yeah, man.
You know, Maxine's going to be there. Maxine's going to be there. Yeah, on the 28th. Campbell Autodidacts is going to be there. Max Egan's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Martin's going to be there. And I don't know. There may be somebody else. I'm not sure. No one out. We're going to announce that yet. We're not going to announce that yet. But we're going to hit this outro. Love you, Shiva.
Yep. Love you, Shiva, brother.
It's been an awesome ride. Today was a beautiful video, man. Hey,
all right,
you're a soul that should have been on my channel a long time ago, and I apologize for the delays, man.
Everything is the right timing. Everything comes at the right time.
I agree. Get that out, bro.
Love you guys.
Love you, brother. Stay epic.
There's a beep in the chat.
Why you took out Pamela? I didn't see her.
She's being passive aggressive.
I saw with her.
A lot of her comments were real passive aggressive. She's got a problem.
I saw.
We can hear you. We can hear you guys. Hey, Jay.
Eat me.
Beep, 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 beep.
Everybody can hear us. Well, I'm going to have to find out how to do this audio because everybody's still listening to it. Because apparently we can't get the audio off.
I can hear you, Jason.
I know you.
Oh, okay. Can they hear us though?